for the Flyers. Touchdown, Loyola. Passing on the carry.
Stuff like that is great.
Pass completed to Taylor. Touchdown Flyers. Taylor on the reception. Touchdown Loyola. Taylor on the reception. Tape on the carry for the Tigers. Game about. On the play, Loyola recovers.
Into the end zone. Touchdown, Flyers. Elliott Scott, please come to the press box. Elliott
All right,
Scott.
John. So Huntington will take the opening kick to start this one. Huntington will be led tonight by Jarrell Joseph at quarterback and DeMaja Riley in the backfield. Like we said in the pregame, John, Huntington is a really big high school team. Aaron Bean and Denari Davis, the two defensive ends, both go 6'6" and around 260 pounds. On the line, Adonis Sanders at 6'4", 260 centers their offensive line. So some big kids, John, much bigger than anyone the Flyers have seen so far this year, and more athletic as well. So the Flyers are definitely going to have their work cut out for them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the Flyers in their 4 games so far this season have essentially played 1A, 2A caliber teams. Enrollment's very similar to what Loyola's enrollment is. In this game, they're taking on a 4A team, and Loyola is one of the lowest 2 enrollment schools in 3A. I mean, they are literally on the cusp of being 3A/2A. So it's really not an understatement to say that they're playing 2 classes up when they're playing Huntington. The enrollment for Huntington is much larger than Loyola's, and it certainly shows itself out here on the football field.
So Matt Monsour will tee it up here for the Flyers to get this one started. Deep for the Raiders is going to be that aforementioned DeMaja Riley, and he will be joined in the
Riley
on the 12-yard line by Dre Robinson. That's going to be a little squiver that's going to be fielded at the – oh, the Flyers almost got there. Maybe they did. Let's see, they did. Flyers get the kickoff. The little squibber, John, Michael Mitchell pulling out the bag of tricks right there. Special teams coach for the Flyers, recovered by number 32, Jack Biden, and the Flyers are in business to start this one.
You know, and it was a perfect kick right where Coach Mitchell wanted the kick to be. It got the really hard hop. There were two players actually going for the ball at the same time. It's exactly what you would want to have happen right there, and it worked out in the Flyers' favor.
So 1st and 10 from the Raider, 26, go the Flyers. Jacob Lafitte's going to hand off that time to it's Wes Barlow. Wes Barlow, who will start this one for Reese Ebarb, who we mentioned earlier, is going to sit this one out. He had a concussion in the last game, and out of an abundance of caution, he's going to take a seat tonight. We hope to get him back next week. Again, the handoff's going to go to Barlow. Barlow's got a nice hole. He'll get up to the 15-yard line, and that's going to be good enough for a Flyer first down.
You know, and here are the Flyers who are basically playing an overload. They've essentially come out all 4 games prior to this running basically the spread offense from the RPO, and here they're essentially running with 2 tight ends, giving Huntington something to look at that Huntington had not seen on film.
So Keshawn English came in and took that carry, picked up a couple of yards. It'll set up a 2nd and 8, and English is going to come right back out for Barlow. The Flyers looking to go pretty quickly right there, John, to capture that momentum early. Now they're going to slow it down a little bit and take their time.
But again, that gave Huntington a lot to look at right there. The different formation now, they're going more to their traditional spread and their RPO look. But they're keeping it tight, which is, again, a different look than the Flyers have given.
This time Lafitte's going to look to throw for the first time. He's got a man in the corner. Touchdown, Flyers! Trey Taylor on the 14-yard touchdown catch. And the Flyers, early in the first quarter, take a 6-0 lead.
You know, it was a great play design right there. Again, it's something that Huntington had not seen. And so the play was really designed a one-receiver look. I mean, that is a quick look for Jacob for Trey on a quick little out. Great play design, something Huntington had not seen, executed perfectly.
Matt Monsour is set to attempt the extra point, and the kick is good. So 10:35 left here in the first quarter, and the Flyers strike first and lead 7-0. We're going to go down to the field to Art Carmody right now.
Kick is good.
Not yet. Now. Nope. Now. Yeah, don't give him the phone.
Yeah, I did it as soon as you said now.
Good. Up 7-0. John, David, back to you. Bye.
All right, thank you, Art. So just like that, John, Flyers strike first, and that's a big score for the Flyers in a game like this to get that momentum and that confidence going early.
Well, not only that, but again, that was nothing that the Huntington team had seen on film. So it was great that they came out in a different formation. They moved the ball effectively, and again, it makes Huntington think about a lot of different things now.
This time Munster kicks deep. It's going to be fielded that time by Robinson, and Robinson still on his feet, but he'll finally be brought down by the Flyers special teams unit back at the Raider 15-yard line. So once again, great special teams play right there by the Flyers, and the Huntington Raiders will come out for their first offensive possession of the night deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 from their own 15.
Michael Key may have made that tackle, but that play was made by Josh Jackson. He came down there and really wrapped him up and held the runner for the rest of the special teams to come clean it up. Great job of coverage.
So the Raiders, led by quarterback Jarrell Joseph, who's going to air this one out to start, and that pass is going to be incomplete. He was looking that time for Zion Clavel. Clavel just couldn't quite catch up to that one. And pretty good coverage that time by Neo Brock of the Flyers.
Again, but Neo Brock's got to learn to turn his head around. I mean, you could see what Huntington wants. They want to throw the deep ball. This has been something that we've seen on tape with them, and so they want to use their athletes. And so the cornerbacks are going to have their head on a swivel.
So 2nd and 10. This time, Joseph's going to keep it, and he'll have about 2 yards on the carry before he's finally brought down by a host of Flyers.
Joseph carries Jonathan Durrell and Jack Bodden.
Durrell and Bodden got there first. It'll make it
to the 18,
3rd down
and 7.
And we've seen that's what Huntington likes to do as well. They like to use Joseph in a running situation, so the Flyers are ready for that as well.
Flyers drop a safety back this time. Got a bunch formation at the bottom of your screen. Huntington's going to look again to go deep, but this time Joseph looks like he wanted to keep it. He finally lets it go and gets it complete to Demaja Riley, but that's going to be about 2 yards short of the first down marker, and it'll be 4th and 2 from the 24-yard line. And so far, it looks like the Raiders are going to keep the offense on the field, John. So if they indeed go for this, it's a pretty bold move here early in the football game. And they're going to take a timeout and think about it, which was probably a good decision.
Timeout, Flyer.
No, it's a timeout.
Actually,
That's a timeout by
Flyers
Coach Jeter, which is
yeah,
really, really smart. He again, the special teams. That was basically they were set up for the punt. They were not paying attention to the fact that Huntington was going to go for it. So he had a special teams outfit out there, and he needed to get his first team defense out there. Really a smart play by Coach Jeter. One of the interesting things, David, right there on that last play, when that bunch set, they've got Brandon Williams in playing defensive back. And so, we don't really see him playing a lot of the defensive back position, but he's a big receiver, and so it's going to make it somebody who can match up with those big wide receivers on Huntington's team.
Hospital and orthopedic specialist. Sure Access MD.
So 4th and 2, and it still looks like the Raiders are going to keep their offense on the field. They may just try to draw them off sides, but we'll see.
Surprised if this is a quarterback lead right here.
And Joseph does take the snap, and there's going to be a flag right here. And it looks like that's going to go against the Raiders. Yep, and so movement against the Raiders. That's going to put them back 5 and make it 4th and 7 now. And here will come the Raider punting unit.
But again, now you can see that they're actually paying attention. You're seeing that the punt team is coming in, and so the Flyers special teams really need to be paying attention to that aspect as well.
So Danny Kuat will be punting from right outside his own end zone. Trey Taylor back to receive for the Flyers. And the Flyers get there. The punt is blocked. The punt is blocked. Touchdown, Flyers!
What a play by
That
Josh
was-
Jackson.
Josh Jackson gets in there, John, and cleanly blocks the punt, recovers it himself for a Flyer touchdown. So the Flyer special teams units, John, making all the big plays so far in this one. And at 9:06 left here in the first quarter, the Flyers now lead it 13-0.
The thing about that, what I really liked, is it was a very high, slow snap right there. And Josh Jackson coming on the edge, he had to get around the 3 defenders, and he kept coming. Great play.
Raiders looking to get men on the field. It's going to be a penalty against the Raiders. The extra point is good, and I kind of doubt they would take that off the board.
I doubt they're going to take it off the board.
Yeah.
I think Coach Jeter's going to probably decline that.
Yeah.
Don't forget blood drive going on here at Vesper Stadium.
As it stands now, the Flyers lead at 14-0.
It'll be here till 9 o'clock, so take an opportunity to give.
It's like
the
he's
gift of
having
life by
a lengthy
donating
discussion.
blood here tonight at Vesper Stadium.
It hasn't been a gimme. The Flyers are still down there, and Jeter's still discussing it with the official. Interesting to see what he decides to do here. And he'll just take the extra point, and the Flyers will send the kicking unit back out into the field. And look at special teams coach Michael Mitchell, John, literally giddy as he dances his way across midfield, watching his special teams unit take control of this. And we're going to go down to the sideline for Art Carmody.
Once again, Flyers special teams, an important factor tonight. Coach Mitchell said they had to win the special teams to have a shot in this game. Flyers up 14-0. One thing to watch for Huntington's offense, receiver number 6, Pavel for Huntington, is kind of already starting to demand the football after 3 plays for the Huntington offense. So that's a matchup to watch wherever he's lined up. Back to you.
Can y'all run back one more time? Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Monster to kick off.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Art.
Let me get it fixed.
Monsoor set to kick off. Riley back to receive along with Robinson. And this one's going to be fielded by Robinson at the 20. He stumbles but catches his balance, crosses the 25, and finally met a couple of Flyers there at the 27, where he'll be brought down. Looks like that was Jack Boswell.
All 3 of those.
Right, yeah.
And it's a
They had some type
7-yard
of
return
kick return
to the 28.
The way the ball
First
is
and 10.
landing is not getting any chance for any type of typical return. So as soon as it's fielded, the runner doesn't know what to do.
So here come the Raiders again. They find themselves down early, 14-0. 9 minutes left here in the first quarter. About as good a start as you could ever hope for if you're a Flyer fan. This time the handoff is going to go to DeMaja Riley. Riley will take it up to the 33-yard line. That'll be a gain of 5.
Riley on the carry.
Second and 5.
Jackson in on the stop.
Jackson on the stop for the Flyers.
Gain of 5. Second and 5.
That's some of the bread and butter. They love to run those little guard pulls. So the Flyers really going to have to stay at home.
Again, Riley's going to take the handoff, and he'll get all the way down to about the 37 and set up a 3rd and 1 for the Raiders.
You know, Liberty, they do a lot of NASCARs.
Riley carries.
Yeah, we got a student
Walk
If you
and
get,
Bodden
if you
on
get
the
a
stop.
chance to go shoot one of
Gain
those,
of 4.
it is a
3rd and 1.
rush. It is unbelievable.
One more time for Riley, and Riley will have the first down. He'll keep his legs moving. Nice run by Riley right there up to the 43, and that'll be a first
Riley
down.
stopped by
Raiders.
Cody Kilgarland.
Cody Kilgarland on the stop.
Ball spotted at the 43. Gain of 6. 1st and 10 at the 43.
David Winkler, Art Carmody bringing you the action here from Mesmer Stadium. It's early, and the Flyers have a 2-touchdown lead at 14-0. This time the handoff
That's a
goes
hold.
to
That's a
Robinson.
hold.
And
We got it.
Robinson
We got it. We
big
got it.
hold. But this one's
That's a pass to Trey Robinson. There's a flag on the play.
Mark, he said he needs you to zoom out just a little bit more on the game shots.
Okay.
Pass is complete for 7 yards.
It was right at the line of scrimmage. It was interesting because it was kind of bunched up, and so it was pretty obvious. But I wasn't sure.
No,
I know.
It's to the 40.
Because what they're showing is
But again, you can see that the Flyers are running a defensive front because they're going to need those extra backers to come to the feed.
But not on the card.
So that'll make it 1st and 13 now. Big play called back that time. Flyers get their hands and finally will bring down Jarrell Joseph. Great job by the Flyer defense right there.
Sacked on the play
Sacked
by
by
number 34, Sam Swack.
Great job by the Flyer defense. After
A
the
loss of
penalty,
8.
they knock them back 8
Second down,
more, and
21.
they're going to set up a 2nd and 21 now.
And again, I mean, that was the blitz by Ian Birch that really kind of allowed Zlock to get in there for the second linebacker coming through to actually clean it up. Great play by both of them.
So 2nd 21. Joseph's going to look to throw this one. Again, he's under pressure. He tries to get out of the pocket, but the Flyer defense is right there. That time it was Ian Birch who brought him down. Joseph picked up maybe a couple of yards before he's finally brought down, and that'll make it 3rd and long.
3rd down, 20 from the 33.
By the Flyers defense, and Darrell did a fantastic job of containing the quarterback. He came upfield, and they had Ian Birch staying there as kind of the quarterback spy, so he was able to make a really easy tackle. Great play on both their parts.
The 3rd and 20. Huntington needs the Loyola 47 for a 1st down. Got a flag on the near side. Joseph goes deep, and he's got a man complete for the moment. That's Demiser Riley on the reception all the way down to Loyola 39, but let's see what this flag's all about. It was thrown right at the line of scrimmage.
It's going to either be illegal formation or illegal procedure, I believe.
And whatever it is, it looks like it's going to go against the Raiders. So another big play brought back due to penalty. Illegal shift is the call, so take it off the board. Big pass play. And the Flyer defense will back him up again. So John, the Flyer defense, not only have they been really solid tonight so far, but on the plays where they have given something up, both of them have been called back due to penalty.
And one of the things that we're seeing is that we talked about earlier in the broadcast, that Huntington likes to go deep. I mean, so these plays are taking a long time. He's sitting in the pocket. So, I think the Flyers are going to end up having to blitz him some to try to disrupt him.
You're fishing for some
You can see what happens when he does have time. Receivers can get down 25, 30 yards.
Forward on the bayou. Tickets to the summer show can be purchased online and by students selling sweepstakes tickets. Prize is valued at $500 or greater. Get your sweepstakes tickets now and come watch your favorite senior jazz it up on the runway on November 13th.
Orthodontics Specialist
That
Hospital
is
and Orthopedic Specialist.
the
Sure
67th
Access
annual
MD,
style
the
show.
Think Network, River City's interventional pain specialist. 3rd down and the proverbial country mile after the 10-yard penalty. They still need the Flyer 47-yard line and be a 3rd and 30. If you want to get specific, John.
Now we need somebody guarding this third receiver here. There we go.
Joseph's going to roll out to his right and look downfield. He's going to throw it deep, and he actually has a man complete. A breakdown right there, John, by the Flyer secondary. You just can't let anybody get behind you in a 3rd and 30. That's exactly what happened, and the Raiders will have a first down
to Kendrick Butter. Tackled by Neo Brock. It is to the 37 of Loyola.
Wide receiver screens, they're looking to get up a lot of yards.
Those are the kind of plays that'll make good food. 5:28 left here in the first quarter, down 2 touchdowns then. What time the handoff's going to go to Demiser Riley, and Riley will get right about the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Jonathan
2nd and 10. Jonathan Durrell on the tackle.
Yeah, Jonathan Durrell's on the backside of the play. The guard and the tackle pull right in front of him. And so his role right there is to get down the line. He did a fantastic job in able to meet the running back in the backfield.
Joseph again is going to look to throw. He's going to be under pressure, but it's a nice screen call. That's a great call by Huntington. And Demisha Riley is going to take that in untouched for a Raider touchdown. John, good job. That was a beautiful play
Riley.
right there by the Raider coaches.
37 yards and a touchdown.
That is the big play capability that this team has right there. That was a well-designed play. And the Flyers they came up the field and marked him. Really easy picking to that.
So the Flyers lead is now
Oh my goodness, they didn't dance to that. That was so good.
special teams again for the Flyers, getting it done. Michael Mitchell's got to be really pleased right now, as his unit is largely responsible for this entire league.
Really, it shows you what good scouting is done. They attacked the edge on that extra point, knowing that they could get there. And so Josh Jackson is having a great night tonight, and it is in part because of good coaching and sending him. So you have to credit the athleticism, but you also have to give a lot of credit to preparation.
So it's been an exciting first quarter, John. We kind of joked around and said before the game when we were talking with Mark Harmony that the over-under would be somewhere around 60 points. We're interested in those kind of things. Right now, they look to be on pace to exceed that.
This is going to be a different part of the game right here. This is Huntington kicking off the Loyola offense to see if Loyola can sustain a drive. You can see how quickly Huntington can move the ball down the field. It's going to be interesting to see if Loyola can methodically move the ball down the field.
Duat set to kick it off.
Offside.
Got an offside against the Huntington kicking unit, so they'll back it up and try it again.
I think you could have called that on multiple Huntington players.
What's it like out there?
It's good. It's a tough game, but it's going to be a good game.
Trey Taylor
They talking anymore?
back there to receive.
Well, they work for the game, but not, yeah.
Duat kick.
I think they expect us to be that explosive.
Y'all do it, just stay behind everything and
Do what you were
break up
taught
the
in
pass.
practice.
The
All
wind's
they doing
blowing
is
pretty
throwing the ball,
stiff,
just break
John,
up the
right
pass.
now.
Stay behind you.
As long as y'all
It's
stick
not
this,
accurate.
y'all going to be
12 miles an hour.
Okay.
Precious little pool front came through earlier, making the temperature and feel very nice.
You do it, Brandon. I promise.
Friday night.
You do it, bro. Keep it up. Hey, don't be scared.
That dude, like,
Will once again be fielded by Taylor. Taylor's going to cross the 25, the 30, he's going to get up to the 35 and finally be brought down to 42. So nice by Trey Taylor sets the Flyers up. Pretty good field position
31-yard return.
to start this possession.
43.
Again, another great
First down.
special teams play right there. Trey Taylor did a great job right there. He caught the ball, and he really let his blockers set up. And then he stayed disciplined. He actually went where the wedge was. And once he got in that wedge, then he really accelerated. He really almost had a chance to break that, too.
Trey Taylor's going to start in the backfield on this possession. No motion out wide. Top of the screen. Flyers go 4 wide here. Going to look downfield, and he'll overthrow Taylor. Maybe 2nd and 10.
For Trey Taylor. 2nd down and 10. 43.
Yeah, I like that play ball right there. That was, Taylor is essentially running a flag right there. They have an out in front of him. He has one-on-one coverage with the safety right there. It's really a nice play design. They rolled Jacob out to give him a little bit extra time, so they're giving Huntington's defense a lot to think about.
This time the handoff's going to go to English, and English powers his way up to the 47-yard line. It'll be a gain of 4 and make it 3rd and 6.
Gain of 4. 3rd down and 6 at the 47.
That's the missing parts of this game, is whether or not English is running the football, if we can establish an upper presence. Because Huntington at some point is going to start sending these athletes to the feet.
Fakes the handoff, and he's just a little bit out in front of Trey Taylor again that time. That'll bring up 4th down.
4th down and 6.
It's midfield, and let's see. Nope, the punt unit's going to come out on the field.
That was they're going to send number 2 on.
Monsoor's on the punt.
You can see the speed that he has. He was in the backfield in no time, and Jacob was running, had a quick slant call, which is the right call, right behind where he came from. But again, the timing has to be perfect right there.
Mansour to punt. Wise will stand on his own 20 farther. Snap goes up, and Mansour is lucky to get this back to the line of scrimmage. And he does it. Takes a great flower bounce.
Let's go, baby!
Mansour. He goes 20 yards back, gets that kick, and then under pressure, turn around with all his momentum going the other way.
24-yard net punt
to get a 24-yard punt off out of that, John. Really, really great job, individual job there by Mansour.
If you're a punter, if you're having to run backwards and try to field the ball, you have no idea where the defenders are, and you got to turn around and figure out what you're going to do with it. He did a fantastic job with that.
So Huntington will come out 1st down at their own 33. It looked like they caught fire a little bit there after that big 3rd and 30 conversion, John. They went right on down the field and scored easily after that. And if you're a Flyer fan, you just kind of hope that that wasn't a point where their offense gets going. Pass is going to be complete out in the flats to Dre Robinson. He'll actually maybe lose 2 yards on that, make it 2nd and 12. Neo Brock on the stop for the Flyers.
One of the great things that Neo did right there is he
2nd down, 12.
He was outside containment, and so the runner was actually looking to try to get outside. He was hoping that Neo Brock would come up on the inside of it, of the outside receiver who was responsible for blocking him. Great job of staying where he's supposed to be.
And that pass is going to be incomplete. Once again, Joseph was looking for Dre Robinson. And that'll set up a 3rd down and 12.
3rd and 12.
You see they got that trip set, and the trips was just running basically a little delay, letting the 2 other receivers clear out, and he was just looking for the pocket in the middle. Brandon Williams really read that well and came up quickly.
The Flyer defense looking for a little retribution here after giving up the big 3rd and 30 in their last possession. Like to get the Raiders off the field here. We're going to have a flag. Let's see what that one's all about. It's like offsides against the Flyers. So we're going to give them 5 yards and make this conversion a little bit easier. It'll be 3rd and 7 now. And the Raiders quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Joseph drops back. Flyers got a hand on him that time. That was Sam Zwack who just got in there and kind of turned Terrell Joseph enough to kind of, I think, affect that throw, John. And he goes over his intended receiver's head that time. and it'll bring up a 4th and 7, and the Huntington punting unit will come onto the field.
And it's those little things right there. That's maximum effort by Sam Zlock right there. And by doing so, he's able to just get a hand on him. He didn't get the sack, but he caused that throw to be off center, and he's the reason why they're punting football right now.
Hewitt back to punt. He's got a nice wind at his back. Key and Taylor back to receive for the Flyers, and Hewitt kind of shanks that one. It does. It's touched right there, and it's going to be down at the where he touched it first, I believe. It should be. 42. 40. Yeah, to the 40, exactly.
But will be spotted at the 40.
Yeah, that's where he first touched it. So 1st and 10 after the net 4-yard punt by Hewitt. Didn't look like any Flyers actually touched the ball, John.
First and 10 for the Flyers.
Just kind of a shame. And Flyers are in business right here inside the Raider territory. They look to go back to the ground a little bit here. And that's exactly what they do. English, but he goes nowhere. English back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
English carries for the Flyers. Riley makes the stop.
You can see Huntington feels like
Okay, 2nd and 10.
They're going to have to roll Jacob out, so give him a little bit of space, because they're going to be coming at those holes looking for blitzing through the run and looking to blitz Jacob on the passes.
Joshua Fashion there, the big man at defensive tackle, goes 6'6", 232. So it is a mountain man that the Flyers are trying to move. And that time, carry is going to be by Chase Jackson. There's a flag on the play. Riley on the stop for Huntington.
8 at the 38.
I'm sorry, I thought I saw a flag. No flag, disregard.
Well played by defense, too. I like the play call. When they were in around, but again, Huntington's got a lot of athletes in that defense.
The feed brings it back down and then delivers a good pass back up to the 35 to Jackson, but that's going to be about 5 yards short. 4-yard gain on the reception, and I bet you the Flyers are going to keep their offense on the field right here, John.
I don't know. This is a tough call. I mean, with the athletes that Huntington had, 4 yards is going to be tough to get. They may try to draw them off on both sides.
That may be it, but they are in kind of that no man's land, John. They don't really gain a whole lot from a punt, and asking any high school punter the direction is always a crapshoot.
That's the end of the first quarter.
And they're just going to let the clock run out here and talk about what they want to do. So, in the first quarter, it's been an exciting one. The Flyers have a 14-6 lead. We're going to go down to the sideline for Art Carmody.
All Flyers in the first half, or the first quarter. Defensively, the Flyers have to play assignment football. Huntington's doing a good job of extending plays, allowing the receivers to find soft spots on the defense. Offensively, the Flyers benefits from good field position, facing a big 4th down to start the second quarter. And so far, Flyers coach is happy with the way the game's gone in the first quarter. David and John, back to you.
Take the battery on it.
All right, so let's see what the brain trust on the Flyer sideline has decided here, John. And Jacob Lafitte is out there. So it's going to be 4th and 4. Flyers need the 30-yard line of the Raiders for a first down. Start of the second quarter, David Winkler and John Carmody. Big play here to get it started. Lafitte's pass is incomplete. Great coverage there by Demaja Riley. Trey Taylor was the intended receiver. And the Raiders will hold and take over on their own 34-yard line.
I mean, you have to be impressed with Riley. You know, he has been everywhere. He's blitzed the quarterback. He's made some great plays, you know, against the run. And here he is playing Trey Taylor. out on the edge. And so, you can see his speed. He's quite an athlete. So it's something that the Flyers need to take into consideration and probably go away from him.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he'd be the guy I want to attack on an important fourth down play. But those are the kind of things you got to play it out and figure out as you go along. So that's what the adjustments are all about. Here we go. Huntington 1st and 10 from their own 34. Jarrell Joseph's going to drop back. He wanted the screen to Riley. He's just going to have to hang on to that one. Flyer defense is all over it. Lyman, we're downfield. You're right, John, but the official he doesn't call it. And as it is, Dylan Williams runs Joseph out of bounds, but not before. Well, actually, and he'll lose a yard out of that. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. He picked up a yard. So second and 9. Second and 9.
So he did a nice thing of actually running that ball, because if he'd have thrown it, he had a lineman downfield.
The Flyer defense did a great job that time, John.
It really did.
Covering up that screenplay, which is the same play they scored on in the first quarter. That time the handoff's going to go to DeMaja Riley, and he's going to be wrestled down after about a 2-yard gain. It looked like
ball carrier,
Jonathan Durrell was the Flyer that got there and put
again,
a bear hug on him.
I go back to that same thing. They're pulling the guard and the tackle around, and that is Jarrell making the right read, going straight down the line and making the play on the backfield. Not only is it that you have to make the read, but you have to be athletic enough to get there as the running back is trying to get that off that edge. And really a great play by Durrell. He's done it twice.
So 3rd and 6 now for the Raiders. Joseph's going to look to throw. He's going to tuck it and keep it instead, and he's got some running room. He's got the first down. He's across midfield. He keeps his balance, and he'll finally be brought down at the 34-yard line, or excuse me, the 35 of the Flyers. John Hammer finally brings him down, but a big play that time by Joseph. He'll pick up about 27 yards.
And see, that's the difference right there.
And 10,
right there, they sent
35
Ian
Loyola.
Birch. Durrell did a nice job of trying to contain him, but as soon as the quarterback took a step up, there wasn't the spy there to try to get him in the gap. And so once he did, that's just pure athleticism at that point.
So 1st and 10 from the Flyer 35. Joseph again is going to keep it. And again, he's got a little room around the left side. This time there's going to be a holding penalty, and that's going to come back.
That's the corners.
Joseph carries. Joshua Jackson makes the stop. There's a flag on the play.
That's the corner's responsibility out there, but the corner was being held by the wide receiver, and I'm sure that's what they're calling.
So as it is, it's a gain of 5, but that's coming back. They got a defensive hold. Wow. John, I got to say, neither one of us saw that one, but that's the call.
I'm not sure. Maybe the officials are confused. I'm shocked at that.
No, I don't think they're confused.
I mean, he seems emphatic about it.
Yeah, he does.
I
don't know what they saw, but at any rate, so that's going to move the ball up to the Flyer 20. It'll give the Raiders a first down. It's a 10-yard penalty, and the Raiders are in the red zone. 1st and 10 at the Flyer 20. 10-16 left here in the first half. Flyers holding on to a 14-6 lead. Handoff that time goes to Robinson. Robinson gets it down to the 17-yard line of the Flyers. It's a 3-yard game. Neo Brock finally brings him down to make it 2nd and 7.
It's a gain of 3. 2nd down, 7 at the 17.
It goes overlooked, but right there, Luke Hammer had to take the lead block right there, and that was a big number 15 that Luke Hammer just took on right there. But he actually made that play, turning the running back inside for the rest of the defense.
Joseph with a quick out that time to Kendrick Rucker, and Rucker's going to get it down to the 4-yard line. That's going to be good for a Raider first down. Jack Bodden finally brought him down. But after the 13-yard gain, it'll be first and goal from the Flyer 4.
And again, the Flyers are playing way far back on that, so that was an easy pitch and catch for the wide receiver right there.
Flag this time. And the official at the top of your screen, offsides against the Flyers. The Flyer defense, after starting out very solidly, is starting to show some chinks in the armor a little bit here, John. So first and goal now from the 2. Maserati's going to take the handoff, and he'll cross the goal line for a Raider touchdown.
For a 2-yard touchdown run.
8 minutes, 46 seconds left in the first half, and the Raiders now trail it 14-12, and we'll see if they go for 2 here or just try to kick the extra point.
Again, that's just really a big offensive line making big holes right there.
Raiders will go for 2.
This time Joseph's going to keep it, and he'll score. The official comes in from the top of your screen, says the conversion's good, and that'll tie it up now at 14 apiece.
Your score is
and
Loyola 14, Huntington 14.
Let's see if we're going to go down to the sideline with Art Carmody here. So far, no signal, John, so
well,
we'll keep it up here in the booth. So, John, you know, it really does seem to me like after we gave up the big 3rd and 30 early or late in the first quarter, that really seemed to give a jolt of confidence to the Huntington offense. They kind of remembered, hey, we're pretty good at throwing this pickle all around the field, and their offense really hasn't looked back since.
And again, I mean, you know, you've got a really athletic quarterback, and they use him well. You've got a very big offensive line, so that helps. So, you know, the Flyers are going to have to counter with some ingenuity. I mean, they're going to have to do some blitzing. They're going to have to take some chances. And you can see that they've done that in the first quarter, and sometimes they've been successful, and sometimes they've been hit with big plays.
AJ Taylor's going to field it at the 15. He's got a little room around the left. He's across the 35, makes a couple of guys miss. He's still on his feet, and he'll get up to the 42-yard line. So great individual effort that time, John, by A.J. Taylor. Sets the Flyers up in pretty good field position at their own 42-yard line. 27 yards on the return for the Flyers special teams.
But, you know, you can see the defense coming off. They haven't been scored on, you know, really all year. And this is a team that has talent. So the defense is going to have to kind of regroup. This is not something that we wouldn't have expected them to be able to shut this team out. But, you know, they really have to kind of sit down and just say, okay, guys, calm down. Let's make sure we know our reads and play the game.
Feet. That pass is going to be complete to English. He'll get it right up to midfield. It'll be an 8-yard gain and set up a 2nd and 2. So great job of getting scheming Lafitte up an easy completion there, John.
Exactly right.
See if they can get him going.
That's exactly the call that you want to make right there. You know, they had everybody, the Huntington defense was blitzing off of the left side, and he came back, you know, to the opposite side of the defense, and he's wide open.
English going to take it again. He's across midfield this time up to the Huntington 47. That's going to be right on the line to gain. And they're going to call it a first down. It's a first down, Flyers. Move the chains. Ball be spotted at the 46.
That's big right there. Again, this is what the Flyers have to do. They have to worry about 10 yards right now. They need to reestablish the offense.
And it's easy to forget with the 4-0 start, the Flyer offensive unit is still very young, especially at all the skill positions. And this is really the first big test that they faced all year. They've had some games where they've been up big and, not a whole lot of pressure. I mean, they're in a dogfight in this one, and that feels a little different when you're a young player.
It is. I mean, you can see Huntington is just blitzing. They're essentially run blitzing. If it's a play action, they're coming after Jacob. So they're utilizing their speed defensively. The Flyers are trying to do these little quick hitters. It's tough because the Huntington defensive line is big.
So 2nd and 9 after the 1 yard.
One of the things you really might think that the Flyers might do is kind of run a little counter here, a little trap, try to catch them coming upfield a little bit.
English is going to take the snap, and he's going to be brought down immediately that time by Gabriel Danner. That'll be a 2-yard loss and set up 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. So 3rd and long. And Lafitte's going to throw. He's got a man complete. That's Chase Jackson. And Jackson all the way down to the Huntington 11-yard line. Great job there, Lafitte to Jackson. And the Flyers are in business after the 36-yard completion.
Not only that, but I mean, Jacob Lafitte had to stand in there and take a shot. Again, they're continuing to send these guys, blitzing him. They're not worried about Jacob running the football. They're just running.
And Lafitte
right at him.
Lafitte had Jackson again that time. They moved up quickly after the big play, like the Flyers. We've seen them do so many times, and had him, but Jackson just couldn't hang on after the big play a minute ago. 2nd and 10. The Flyers can get a 1st down at the 1. Now, interesting side note, John. This is the first time we've seen a legitimate high school band on the visiting side in a while. And I tell you what, they only play when Loyola's offense has the ball, and I think you can make a pretty darn good argument that our offense has a tougher time hearing out there than theirs does from our crowd noise.
I agree.
So after the 5-yard loss, it'll be 2nd and 15. Lafitte's got a little time. He throws, corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Flyers! Trey Taylor on the 16-yard reception. And just like that, the Flyers retake the lead 20-14 with 6:15 left here in the first half.
What I really liked about that play, again, it's a rollout. We talked about number 2 on Huntington's team. How well he's played. He was coming off of the edge right there. Jacob, he got a little chip block from the running back, but it gave Jacob enough time to get outside and run that little flag pattern to Trey. Nice job.
The Mansour kick is good. So, like I said, 6:15 left. Flyers take a 7-point lead at 21-14.
Well, John and David, you're watching a young quarterback grow up. Jacob Lafitte was outstanding on that drive, taking a shot and completing the pass to Chase Jackson to set up the 1st and goal situation, and a beautiful throw in the corner of the end zone to Taylor. Great drive for Lafitte. You're watching him grow up. Hope you can see more of that as the game goes on. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Art. So, John, I mean, if you're Coach Cheater right now, you got to be really happy with your young offense. Just answered the bell right there. I mean, they came out. The momentum had switched back to Huntington. They took the ball. They had good positions from the Taylor return. Went all the way down the field and scored to retook the lead.
Not only that, the offense is showing the defense they can do their part as well. That was a good drive right there. We gave the defense a little bit of a break and showed that the defense, the offense is in this game. Okay, they're there. They're going to try to counterpunch with this Huntington offense. So that bothers up the defense a little bit too.
Andre Robinson await the monster kick. Let's see if the Flyers get deeper, if they've got something up their sleeve again. A lot of really solid special teams play tonight by the Flyers special teams. They seem to realize it. And here comes on the last second, Brandon Williams. Does swim it. It's a nice little hop, and it'll be fielded at the 29-yard line by Nicholas Ellis. Ellis turns the corner, but it's going to be a flag on the near side. It's probably going to be a hold. Probably coming back, although we were wrong last time we assumed, so we'll try to refrain from doing that.
Well, that was the first time, again, they've had a breakdown in running their lanes.
Yep, penalty is against Huntington to wave off the return. It looked like for a second there, John, Ellis might have been wobbling that ball. The Flyers special teams in the hunt for another big one. After the 15-yard penalty, the ball has come all the way back to the Huntington 15-yard line. Jarrell Joseph will lead his
first and 10 at the 15.
Start this possession.
Because of the toughness of Luke Hammer, he took a kind of a blindside block on that return right there.
And that time, Riley is met a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Great job by the Flyers.
Carries, he stopped by Bodden
in there.
and Durrell.
Bodden and Durrell come in and lay the smackdown on Riley.
Loss of 1, second and 11.
Jonathan Durrell just impresses me every time.
Time out on the field.
It is amazing to see him play.
Loyola will be on the road next week. Take on Green Oaks. The other game of the district season Friday's game time. It's 7 p.m. at Jerry Burton Stadium with the campus of Northwood High
Are you
School.
fishing for some fun?
Loyola will
Grab your
return to
pierogi
Vesper
and your
Stadium in
fishing
2
pole
weeks.
and join Snoopy and the LCP class of 2020 on November 13th for the 67th annual Style Show. Born on the Bike. Tickets to the Style Show can be purchased online. And tonight, if you're here at the game, we have students selling sweepstakes tickets for the Style Show for prizes valued at $500 or greater. Get your sweepstakes ticket now and come watch your favorite senior jazz it up on the runway November 13th. John, of course, you can listen to us here in the stadium from your smart device. We encourage people to do that. 5:46 left here in the first half. Flyers with a 21-14 lead. Still an exciting back and forth game. Second and 11 go the Raiders. And this time, Joseph's going to have a easy touchdown. That's going to go to Lynn Thomas. And Thomas goes for 85 yards. Excuse me, that's Clavell.
86 yards and a touchdown.
86 yards. Just like that, Huntington has an answer.
Quarterback just laid it out there, put enough hands on the ball, and let the wide receiver go and get it. But Neil Brock, he's out there.
Kuak for the extra point. Again, a high snap. They had a problem with that earlier. He's able to corral it and put it
Next
through.
point is good.
5:34 left here.
The new score is 21.
21. Your third Flyer offense. We're starting to get a little whiplash with the back and forth nature of this one, John.
What we thought, very good football team that Huntington has. Let it take all bets are on. Any play can turn into a you really have to be risky. And for 90% of the time, the Flyers do it. And it still, there's little cracks. Get to be big plays.
we're just not going to let you beat the team. You're going to have to work it down the field. And can the Huntington Raiders show the kind of patience to go 10, 12 plays and not just look for the big play? We'll see. Trey Taylor on the return. TD 26. After Jacob Lafitte will bring out his Flyers first and 10.
15-yard return to the 25. First and 10 Flyers.
Say it this early in the game, but you have 5 30 seconds. And so, it really is important to try to sustain. Even if you don't score, it'd be nice to get down here and score and everything else, but they should seriously get that 10 yards. That's all they really need to do. Keeping the chains moving.
Look how tight the secondary coverage is for Huntington. English is going to take that one up to the 32-yard line. Gain of
Carries for the Flyers, a gain of 7.
Second and 3.
Second and 3.
Yeah, I like what there. They just pulled the flag off. And even though the ball to get a great block, it still created the lane for the back to get through. And I think that the Flyers maybe find some success with that because Huntington is just coming upfield.
And they're playing everything so tight. They got one safety back and everybody else is basically in the box. I mean, if they can break through the first level, they're gone. And that time English is going to be brought down at the 31.
English.
So he's actually going to go the wrong
Loss
way.
of 1.
A loss of 1 instead of 34.
Third and 4.
What's from the outside. They're not even bothering. They're just coming.
The Flyers taking their time on this big third down. Snaps over Lafitte's head. Lafitte just better fall on it. No! Like the Raiders, they have recovered, John, and they have. You can't try to pick that one up, John. You got to fall on that.
High snap,
Take your chances.
covered by
The
Huntington.
Raiders do get it. Come on. And they're going to have it first and goal from the Flyer 8 when their offense comes down the field. But it looks like the Flyer down too.
Now another running back.
Well, it looked like he tried to scoop it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, these old eyes can't see everything. If my doctor, my ophthalmologist would, get my prescription a little better, I could probably see plays like that better.
Those eyes are perfect.
Still can't tell who that is. Looks like they're working on the left leg. Looks like they're trying to rub out, maybe just a cramp, John. Looks like they're trying to rub out his left calf.
You hope so. I mean, in places like that where the action is going the other direction, that's where, you can get caught, up underneath somebody's leg. There's a lot of bad things can happen with the balls squirting around like that. But, we talked about, how big that series was, and this is.
And I'll tell you what, it was Keyshawn English that was down, and that's a tough one, John, if you're a Flyer fan, because without Reese Ebarb tonight, English, along with Barlow, and to some extent Trey Taylor, have been tasked with picking up the slack in the Flyer backfield. And English is out, and that just leaves Barlow and Taylor,
First and goal,
which is going to be problematic for the Flyer outfield. Not anything against them. They're great players, but they're young, and that really shortens the depth in the Flyer backfield. And Joseph's going to keep that one. He's still moving. Finally, the Flyer defense meets him at the goal line. It's able to keep him out of the end zone, make it second and goal. Looks like they're going to actually mark it. Let's see. They're take it down to the 1. So they're going to mark it out to the
Joseph,
1 yard
stop by
line.
swap
Make it
and
second
over.
and goal from the 1. The Huntington offense will be back to the line of scrimmage.
Gain of 7.
Going to do that, but I mean, so it worked out.
Just once every couple of weeks, I'm gonna go there and help them, man. Good start. Good.
And Riley keeps that one. 4 Raider touchdowns. So 3:22 left here in the first half, and the Raiders have now taken their first lead of the night. They lead the Flyers 27-21.
I'm not shooting anymore. I'm just gonna help them at it.
They got a lead or something? They got a lead or something?
Yeah. Just go there, maybe they got like 15 shows.
Danny Kuat will attempt the extra point. A couple of high snaps for the Huntington special teams. Flyers took advantage of one. That was a low snap. And again, it affects the kick. It's no good.
Extra point is no
Score's
good.
going to stay 27-21.
Your new score is Huntington 27, Loyola 21.
Just said this a couple minutes ago, that last offensive series is a pivotal part of this game, and I'm going to say it again. So now there are 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the half. It is very important for the Flyers to really not let this get out of hand. Get out there and start moving around, all right? Hey. Whatever they do right here, it needs to be sustained, even if it doesn't go anywhere. Huntington has shown the big play potential that we feared, and so really giving it any time it can be counterproductive.
So the Flyer offense is going to look to they've only had 5 first downs. Contribute a lot of those points to the special teams play. At least half of them, really. 2 of those first downs came in the first drive tonight. Well, let's see if the Flyer offense can answer the bell here. The squib kick will be fielded by Taylor's going to let it go. It's a live ball. He does at the 10-yard line. We'll start with great field position.
Taylor, no
return.
return.
First and 10 from their own 10.
Loyola ball at the 11-yard line.
Left for Huntington, according to the scoreboard. And again, the Flyers are down deep. I would not be surprised at all. 3 timeouts and the first and 4. He's got a punt. They just lost their running back. So again, it's going to put the Flyer offense in the play.
Well, they may not have lost their running back, John, because there is Keyshawn English with a little hitch in his giddy up, but he is trying out to film. No, now he's coming back. So he thought he was going out there anyway, but he looks noticeably to have a limp. And this time the feet is brought down quick.
The feet is sacked by number 1, Michael Payton.
Edward Clark and Mike Morton for the Huntington Raiders, who are in the
Loss of 8.
backfield in a hurry. It'll be an 8-yard
Second down,
loss
18.
instead of second and 18.
At the 3-yard line.
There we go. Jake was with the ball on the whole defense.
This is an interesting kind of point in the Flyer season so far, John. I mean, this is kind of the first time the Flyers have faced adversity in any of these games, and they're as a young team still going to find out a lot about themselves right here. The handoff goes to Taylor. So A.J. Taylor is going to carry it out of the Flyer backfield, and he'll maybe pick up a yard. Timeout here. Let's see. It's like timeout Huntington right here. Set up the third.
Timeout Huntington.
And about 17 when we come back. Like I was saying, John, this is really the first kind of point in the season that the Flyers have faced adversity. I'm not completely sure, but I believe it may even be the first time they've trailed at all.
The difference is, with Reese Barb, we've been seeing a lot of runs that go straight up the gut. So these runs where people are coming off of the edge defensively, it's very hard to get to those runs. And so Reese has been very effective getting straight ahead yards. Right now, the Flyers are trying to do a lot of stuff that are trying to get outside. And really, I mean, they really need to be paying attention to what Huntington's doing, because as they're coming off the edge, if they go to that side, there really is very little there. If they can kind of really get away from Riley, the Riley kid has been playing exceptional.
So 3rd and 17, Flyers need their own 21. If he can look at those, he goes deep, he's looking for Taylor. The pass is thrown out of bounds, incomplete. And A.J. Taylor won't be able to come up with it, and that'll set up 4th down.
Again, I mean, that's a gutsy play call. Hard. When you don't make that, you're putting your punter in a bad position now. Huntington should end up with a very short field.
Wise and Williams are back in. Wise back in for senior 4.
So Wise stands on his own 31. Monsters with his heels on the back of the end zone. Perilous territory for the Flyers, and Monster does a great job of getting it off. Great job on the kick, and it goes over Wise's head. He still hasn't picked it up. He finally gets it at the 40-yard line. So John, that is
37-yard punt.
The Flyers could have hoped for.
So Monster had to kick it quick. He got a good kick fire. Again, I mean, with really kind of a max
First and 10 for the Raiders at
the
the
punter,
40.
they didn't really have a lot of coverage down there, and thankfully the ball kind of kicked around a little bit to allow the punt team to get down there.
The Flyer defense really with the, again, kind of a moment right here on the season. They've got to stop the Huntington Raiders right here. They can ill afford to go down 2 scores before halftime. Huntington already has the momentum. They don't want to give them any more. And that pass is going to be complete to Zion Clavel. Clavel has a 10-yard gain.
Pass complete to Clavel. Dylan Williams, Ian Burke.
Seconds left here in the first half.
Again, he was looking to
Gain
go deep.
10 and a first down.
Played the deep route well, and so he's looking for a secondary and third receiver, and he has that much athleticism, that much time because of his big offensive line that he actually can look for a second and third receiver.
Again, Joseph's going to look at those. He's got another wide open man. He's got to see him. He's just going to run it himself, and he'll pick up about
Joseph
6
scrambles,
yards.
tackled by Birch.
Birch got there.
Timeout.
And the Raiders are going to take a timeout with 1:46 left.
It'll be 2nd and
here
4.
in the first half.
Timeout
It'll be
Huntington.
2nd and 4 when we
It's
come
their
back.
second.
So John, with a minute 46 seconds left here in the first half. Really got to make a gut check hold. They just can't afford to go down 13 points right here before halftime with the way that the Huntington offense is moving the ball, and frankly, the way that their offense is struggling to move the ball.
That's the thing. Huntington is looking for good plays. They are looking for some very chunky yards. And so, your defense has to play the whole field, which is fine. So, teams that run through gaps and sort of kind of play that gap-based defense. But when you got a team that spreads the field out, you got an athletic quarterback, you have to play the whole field. And we're going to have the athletes to make that happen. Go D!
So 2nd and 4. Joseph going to look to throw, and this time he'll be bought down in the backfield. Fumble on the play. Let's see who's got it. No signal yet.
Sack on the play
It just says it's still Huntington ball. Ball be marked at the 30, so it's a 6-yard loss. Swakin Birch on the tackle. Let's go, Ian! Moves 1 minute 25 seconds left here in the first half.
Again, they did that with basically a 3-man rush. They're going to really have to, they're going to try to spy out Joseph, but they're really going to have to send a little bit more pressure at him.
Joseph again under pressure, and that pass is going to be incomplete, largely in part to the pressure applied by Ian Birch. John Birch was right in his face. He tried to get rid of that, and he was off target.
I really give the Flyers defensive front a lot of credit right here. They are trying to get pressure on him with basically a 3-man front, and every one of them is matched up against somebody big.
Well, really, John, the experience in the Flyers on the Flyer defensive side of the ball is with their defensive line and linebackers to some extent. It's the secondary that's young, at least some of them. It's going to be up to that defensive front to put pressure on Joseph
Timeout,
These
Huntington.
receivers
It's their
don't have all
third
day
and
to run
final
around
of the half.
1:06 left here in the first half, and it's going to be 4th and 10. And it looks like Huntington's going to go for this, which is kind of they're in that territory. So why not?
Yeah, but they've been effective. And so giving Joseph one more crack, going 10 yards, either using his feet or being able to stay in the pocket and look for secondary receivers. I mean, it's been an effective strategy for Huntington. So, there's really nothing lost with them going for it on 4th down right here. And of course, Flyers defense for this series has really played well. They dropped a bunch of people back trying to take away options and he's staying in the pocket and basically waiting for something to open up. So, the three defensive linemen have to do a lot of work back to get to him. They've done a great job.
All right, so really big play on the night here.
Let's go,
4th and 10. Flyer defense really needs to get the Raiders off the field right here, right now.
Come on, let's get off.
Joseph's going to drop back and look to throw. He looks deep. He's got a man. That pass is incomplete. Great job that time by the Flyer defense. He wanted Ray Robinson. Joshua Jackson was there to get a hand on it. The Flyer defense does what they need to do, John. Get it back to the offense with 59 seconds left
Flyer ball,
here in the first
59
half.
seconds to go before halftime.
Just a minute left, and I believe let's see, there's like all 3 other timeouts according to the scoreboard. And the Flyers try to go down and see if they can at least get 3, if not 7 on the board.
You might do something safe. You might do a little payouts or something, but there's no reason right now. You're one score away. You've got a short field for Huntington. The last thing you want to do is do something, turn the ball over, and give that offense a chance.
And the Flyers will receive the kickoff to start the second half, so I'm sure that's playing into their decision making.
Yes, kneel on right here, which is not a bad decision.
And they do. So they'll have to do that one more time to wind the clock all the way down.
And I just go back to that last defensive stand right there. That is something I know you have. When you go to a locker room right now, yes, the defense hasn't really been scored on all year, and yes, there have been a lot of big plays in this first half. But we expected it. I mean, and so the coaches expected it, and the players really have some level of expectation that can happen. That does not mean that you're not a good defensive team. And right there,
First half.
stopping them from going in.
Huntington 27, Loyola 21.
So that's the end of the first half. Your score here from Mesmer Stadium, Huntington 27, Loyola 21. And we're going to go down in just a second here to Art Carmody on the sideline, who's going to grab Coach Jeter as he makes his way into the locker room.
Coach, offensively, Jacob Feet led a great drive, took a shot on the throw over the middle to Jackson, and the great throw to the corner of the end zone. Is he growing up a little bit tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing a great job the first 4 weeks. Going into this 5th week, you just kind of see him mature each week, and we need him to mature a lot more in the second half to give us a shot.
And then defensively, doing a good job spying on the quarterback for Huntington. What do you got to do to limit those big plays?
Well, we had one busted coverage that we gave up, a big play. Just didn't communicate in the back half. They got a lot of athletes over there, and they're putting us in some positions that we got to communicate better. We got to line up faster and just play our brand of football.
And then you're in for a 4-quarter battle. Last few weeks, you kind of had the games wrapped up at halftime. Is conditioning or depth a concern?
Always. Anytime you're going up a class and you're playing somebody that plays, they got more subs or whatever. But I feel like we do a great job getting our guys ready Monday through Thursday. We had a great summer, and it's for reasons like this. And so now it's just about, are we going to be mentally tough enough to respond in the second half?
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
David and John, back to you.
All right, thanks, Art. So we're going to take a look at the Flyer halftime show by the great Flyer cheerleaders here, and then we're going to show you the rundown and the Flyer hype video, and then we'll come back for an exciting second half. Again, your score here from Mesmer Stadium at halftime, Huntington 27, Loyola 21. You're watching Flyer football on LCP TV.
Hi everyone, I'm Marguerite Papa.
And I'm Mary Rose Desato. Welcome back to the Rundown for October 4th, 2019.
One of the many things that makes Loyola unique is our one-of-a-kind mascot.
You may have seen Snoopy made an appearance at the last pep rally.
Let's find out more about our mascot from Lauren Lindsay.
One of the many unique things about Loyola is our mascot. Our principal, John LeBlanc, explains how Snoopy became the face of Loyola.
In 1966, I believe it was a brother that was teaching here, wrote a letter to Mr. Schultz asking if we could use Snoopy as our mascot, and if my memory serves me correctly, Mr. Schultz wrote back with an image of Snoopy on the doghouse, the one that we use today for everything, saying this should be perfect for a school nicknamed the Flyers. When that happened in '66 and Mr. Schultz granted us permission, we were the only school in the country, and actually in the world, that were able to use Snoopy as the mascot.
Each year, a new student has the privilege to be Snoopy at many Loyola functions. Snoopy, who sometimes goes by the name Declan Shimoleski, tells us what it's like to be inside that gigantic head.
I think it all just started in health class. Coach Leach proposed the idea of somebody being Snoopy for the homecoming pep rally, and I said, well, sure, why not? You have to be very energetic. Like, sometimes you excite yourself when you're inside the costume because nobody really knows who you are, but you know what you're doing and who you are. I want to be something people look forward to when they come to an LCP football game. You always have good days and you have bad days. The most embarrassing occurred on what could be called a bad day. I just tried to break through the banner at the very beginning of the Who Let the Dogs Out song, and the banner got stuck under my foot, and when I planted to run along the crowd, I slipped in front of the entire school.
Snoopy has been and always will be a special part of Loyola. This has been Lauren Lindsay.
Thanks, Lauren. One of my favorite things about Loyola is our unique mascot.
This is not the only thing that sets Loyola apart. Our service to the community is unlike any other.
This weekend, students will have the opportunity to give blood to those who need it most.
Here's M. Hussein with more details.
Hey Flyers, one of the great things about Loyola is our service to the community, and Friday night will give us an opportunity to do just that. Friday night, before and during the football game against Huntington, there will be a community blood drive at Mesmer Stadium from 6 to 9. If you're interested, you must be 16 years old and have a parent's consent. We will have permission slips in the office starting today. If you're 17, you don't need a parent's consent, but you must present a picture ID to show before you donate. You can sign up at lifeshare.org. Be sure to come out and watch the Flyers play and give the gift of life.
Thanks, Em. What a way for students to give back.
We are so thankful for all the opportunities Loyola offers.
Did you know that this weekend our cross-country team is being given the opportunity to run in Orlando?
Let's hear more about this trip from Julia Smith.
After school yesterday, the cross-country team left to go on their Orlando trip. Here is Mr. Villalba to tell us more.
Hi, this is Coach Villalba. I'm very excited to share what we're doing over here in Orlando, Florida, this weekend for the cross-country meet in Universal Studios. So this Friday, we're going to practice to get ready to prepare for the race tomorrow, Saturday. We're looking forward to the big race at the Orlando Studios. So we're gonna start by practicing, running around the course, and then we're gonna go and hit the pool just to refresh at the Cabana Bay Resort, beautiful place. And then from there, we're gonna have a nice lunch so that we can have energies to go and enjoy the wizarding world of Harry Potter. We're gonna go and fly around this beautiful, amazing amusement park of Harry Potter. After that, we must get that rest so that we can compete to our best of our abilities and run as fast as we can. Saturday morning, where we're gonna go and compete against other teams from the nation in the United States and show why we are the Flyers, a very amazing team who is ready to compete against anybody in the world. With that said, after the race, we're gonna go back and enjoy another refreshing pool time with the team to get ready and prepare for another awesome experience at the park at Universal Studios, because at night, we are actually going to the Halloween Horror Nights, which is going to be as scary as can be. I'm already shaking, terrified, but so excited and thrilled to death to see how scary it's going to be, especially with the team as we run around in this park at night. So with that said, Sunday we return, we fly back because that's who we are, the Flyers. Thank you.
Hope the cross-country team does well this weekend. I wish I could be there. Here's Wes Barlow with the rest of this week's sports.
Tonight, the Flyer football team takes on Huntington at 7 at Mesmer for their last home game before district play starts. The Flyers are trying to go 5-0 for their first time since their 2016 season. Reese Ebarb tells us more about his hopes for the game.
Okay, so this Friday we have the chance to go 5-0 for the first time since the 2016 season. This game Friday is going to be a big factor on how the rest of our season is going to go. Our offense has been doing great this year. We've put up 157 points, and our defense has only allowed 16 points all year. We'd like to keep it at 16, and hopefully have a great game.
Last Friday, the Flyers played Jonesboro Hodge at Jonesboro and walked away winning 41-0. It was the first shutout since the 2016 season as the defense came up with 5 turnovers. Last week, the volleyball team traveled down to Baton Rouge for the weekend, playing 4 games and sadly leaving without a win. And this Tuesday, they played hard but weren't able to win their first district home game. And a big congratulations to the Loyola Cross Country Boys Varsity team for another impressive race at the Cedar Creek Cross Country Invitational with a total of 7 new PRs. Willow Dart ran a time of 15:44 to win the race and set a new course record. Other top performers were Sarah Blunt, Cammie Miranda, Leslie Johnson, Daniel Boggs, Carson Massad, and Barrett Massad.
That's all for this week's Sports Report. This has been Wes Barlow reporting.
Thanks, Julia and Wes. Good luck to all of our Flyer sports teams this weekend.
That's all for this week's rundown.
Have a great weekend, Flyers.
All right, welcome back to Mesmer Stadium. You know, John, it's always kind of a different feel when the opposing team brings in a great band. And Huntington has a tremendous band, probably one of the best in the area, and it certainly kind of just adds to the atmosphere that makes it fun in here. I think that needs to be a new prerequisite for scheduling, that when they bring it, at least once a year, they have to bring a visiting team in that has a really good band.
You know, we appreciate anybody that's out there watching the telecast and listening to us, but I reiterate that this is a great experience to be out here on a Friday night. The weather is beautiful, 80 degrees. You really couldn't ask for anything nicer. You know, and like you said, Huntington's band brings a liveliness to this atmosphere. It really, and I would ask anybody who comes from town, alumni, family, to come out here and experience one Friday night out here. It really is something I think you'll enjoy.
Well, John, the Flyers got started early. They went up 14-0, mostly, well, in large part due to some tremendous special teams play by the Flyers special teams. Huntington then got a big 3rd and 30 conversion. Went down to score to cut it to 14-6. Held the Flyers, came back, scored again, tied it up. The Flyers went down then and took a 21-14 lead, but since then have given up 13 unanswered. And that's where we find ourselves right now here at halftime with the Huntington 27-21 lead. So we've seen a little bit of everything in the first half, John. We've seen a lot of what we expected. We thought it would be kind of a high-scoring game, you know, despite the fact that the Flyer defense had played so well coming into this game, but we knew that, that this offense would be something that was another level up compared to the teams that they had faced up to this point. So now here we come into the second half. The Flyers on both sides of the ball have, like they say, kind of been punched in the mouth a little bit for the first time all season. They've showed some spunk in responding on both sides of the ball. We saw a great 4th and 10 defensive stop to end the first half where Huntington could have gone up 2 scores, but the Flyer defense did a great job of getting off the field, kind of grabbing a little bit of that momentum back right there. And now they're going to come out to the second half here. So if you put yourself in Coach Jeter's shoes, John, what do you have to say to your troops in there at halftime to get what you need to get out of them here in the second half?
I emphasize exactly what you just said. That last stance right there shows you that you can be on the football field with this extremely athletic 4A team. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the telecast, it is essentially Loyola playing 2 classes up. And so, yes, I mean, they are what's advertised for a 4A team. They have got athletes. The Joseph kid at quarterback is everything you would want in a quarterback. He's big, he's strong, he's got an arm, he's got wheels, he can run. Riley, the running back and outside linebacker has played exceptional. So what I tell them is, guys, these are the same reads that we've made. You have been there 90% of the time. They're not going to necessarily hit every home run. They keep looking for home runs. They're not necessarily going to hit them. Just stay doing what you're supposed to be doing.
So that's Trey Taylor, fields it and brings it up to the 21-yard line, and that's where the Flyers will have it 1st and 10.
It was interesting. Trey looked like he may have slipped right there as he was starting to take off, and I think he may have thought his knee went down to the turf because he kind of hesitated, and then all of a sudden he didn't hear any whistle, and so then he really kind of sped up. So I guess the officials either saw that his knee wasn't down or didn't see that it was down.
So here comes the Flyer offense led by Jacob Lafitte. Good to see Kashawn English back out there with the Flyer first team unit. We haven't seen a lot of Wes Barlow, John, since the very first series of the night. I'm not sure if there's anything wrong with him, but he seems kind of the ball carrier. He seems like he's been a little bit absent here. We'll see if we see any more of him as we move along.
Yeah, I mean, and it may just be that English is really kind of a sturdy back, and running up in those gaps like that. They may want just a little bit more girth and trying to hit those holes. Again, I like that play call right there. They motioned Brandon Williams, and they really had numbers on this side, so they might see that they actually have some numbers to make some easy passes.
Feet's going to drop back. They're setting up the middle screen, and they have Trey Taylor, but Taylor just can't quite get away from the Huntington tackler right there. He'll pick up a yard, and that'll set up 3rd and 7.
I love the play call right there. Again,
he was one hand away from a big play.
That's exactly right. I mean, again, those are the things that's very inventive, and it's paying attention to what's going on. They're letting Huntington come up the field after Jacob and just trying to throw behind it. So again, there's nobody coming over here with the safety's kind of coming late. There's a wide open in the flats. Oh, but he went for the deep.
Going to go deep, and he just didn't quite get a good pass off there. He's going to be intercepted by Dre Robinson, and Robinson's going to return it back to the it's like where they mark him out here, about the 28-yard line maybe. And I think that was one Jacob would like to have back, John. It looks like the ball kind of slipped on him when he went to throw it, and he ended up kind of getting a little more air under it than he wanted to.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you don't really generally see Jacob make that kind of errant throw. Though, really what would have been open is a quick little flat route right there to AJ. I wish it would have been designed to get him the ball quicker, because they had a hard time. Huntington had a hard time shifting over there and catching up with that trip set.
Joseph's going to hand off that time to DeMijah Riley, and Riley's going to carry it down to the 22-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 9, and they'll set up 2nd and 1.
Riley carries. Brandon Williams
And Ian Birch make the stop. Gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
The Raiders in no hurry here. Joseph's going to drop back to pass. And again, like he's done several times tonight, he's going to keep it himself. And he is going to cross the goal line for a Raider touchdown, no flags.
Joseph,
so that'll be a
22-yard
22-yard touchdown run by Jarrell Joseph. And early here in the third quarter, Huntington now takes a 33-21 lead.
And again, I'm going to just stress again. I know I keep saying it. That is pure athleticism right there. Birch and Bodden were sitting there waiting for him to scramble out of that. The 3 defensive linemen did a great job. He had 2 lanes to look at, and really he just made one little cut and made Birch and Bodden both missing. They were both in the right position, but it was just pure athleticism.
So the Raiders are going to look to go to tip for 2, make up for that point they lost at the end of the first half, and they are not going to get it. So they go chasing points, and they end up losing one right there. So with 9:43 left here in the in the third quarter, the Flyers now trail at 33-21. So John, not the start the Flyers wanted coming out at halftime, and let's see how Jacob Lafitte and his offense responds after turning the ball over in their first possession of the third quarter.
But what I liked right there is they showed something that maybe they can work with. I really do believe that motioning out of that the double twin set, coming into essentially a trips formation, and seeing how Huntington shifts on that, they might create little openings that they don't have to throw really aggressive passes. They might be able to throw some really safe passes and advance the ball up the field. Because, again, without Reese Ebar kind of running through your gaps, and getting that straight ahead running, it's going to be tough for the Flyers to maintain drives.
And again, great job kicking that time by the Raiders. Ball squibs into the end zone where it'll be a touchback. But I'll tell you what, John, if Kuat can get that kick to kind of hold up there a little bit, the Flyers are going to be in trouble because the Raiders are getting closer and closer to potentially getting on one of those.
Yeah, and, it's very effective kicking. Both special teams kicks have had their moment. So
first and 10 to 20.
All right, so 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Go the Flyers. It looks like Huntington's going to bring some pressure, and that pass is going to be incomplete, intended for A.J. Taylor, and there's going to be a flag right there.
It was. He was all over him, and I was really waiting to see if they were going to call it. He was all over him right there. Again, it's going to be a very tight window, but that was really a nice play call. He's got one-on-one coverage with, A.J. Taylor, really your most athletic, if you want to say that, he or Trey are both very, very athletic, wide receiver, and so you do have him in space, and that's what you want to try to do.
For a hold, 1st and 10.
So
Flyers.
Defensive holding moves the ball up to the 30, and it'll be a fresh set of downs for the Flyers. Lafitte's going to hand off to English, and he's going to be met immediately in the Flyer backfield. Loss of 3 on the play, so make it 2nd and 13. Flyers, the Flyer offensive line showing a few cracks right now, John.
Yeah, that was just missed assignments right there, letting the defensive end come upfield that quickly.
He's going to look to throw.
He's got Taylor.
He's got a man. That's going to be pass interference.
He's got Taylor. That is a great play call right there.
Trey Taylor, the intended receiver, he's going to draw the penalty right there for pass interference. Or it looks like they're going to call defensive holding, to be specific. And that's going to give the Flyers another fresh set of downs.
You know, I love that play call. I was actually looking right before that play, and Trey Taylor really, I think, has the best mismatch right here, and really kind of going after that. Jacob did a nice job of putting enough air underneath that ball, but he's got to watch for the deep safety coming over too. So again, motioning, I think, trying to motion some of these receivers to kind of create situations where Huntington's going to have to respond, I really think might be effective.
Well, and this is an interesting deal. Because they called it defensive holding and not pass interference, it's not an automatic first down, actually. So after the 10-yard penalty, it makes it 2nd and 3.
And I believe that ball was in the air. I mean, I would really call that pass interference.
Yeah, I agree, John. I agree. I think the Raiders caught a break right there with that call. He was he was at least 10 yards down the field when it happened too. So 2nd and 3, 8 minutes 49 seconds left in the third quarter. Flyers trail it 33-21. Lafitte again under pressure like he's been much of tonight, but he gets a pass off, and that's a heady decision there by Jacob Lafitte.
I don't know why he's throwing a flag.
Except he's throwing the flag. He's going to say intentional grounding.
He's way outside.
He was way outside the tackle box, and he got the ball. He got the ball past the line of scrimmage. So I don't get it.
I don't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't have to have a receiver out there in that situation.
He needs to pick that flag up. I don't know why.
That is a blown call right there, folks.
Intentional grounding is a call against the Flyers. Carries a loss of down.
Well, I imagine that the official, if he watches our telecast and goes home and studies his performance tonight, will wish he had that one back.
I mean, you could throw the ball out of bounds. You could throw it into the stands if you wanted to.
Exactly.
At that point,
Exactly. All he has to do is get outside the box and get it past the line of scrimmage, and he did both of those. That pass was intended for A.J. Taylor, and that's going to bring up 4th down now. And the Flyer punting unit come out onto the field. That's an unfortunate series of events there for the Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, you hate that one because, that's not on Jacob.
No.
At all.
But I'll tell you what, John, the Flyer offensive line is going to need to step up here a little bit, or they're going to have to work on some of their protections because Jacob has been under extreme duress most of this game, and he just doesn't have much time and on. I know, as you mentioned earlier, they've tried to scheme up some things where they let the defense come up the field, but more often than not, it has not gone the Flyers' way.
Looks like they're going to call maybe not enough men on the line of scrimmage for the. And that looked like it was all sides.
It's going to go against the Raiders, so the Monster will have a few more yards to work with here. That's about all that's going to do. It's going to be 4th and 12.
Bring up 4th and 12 at the 28.
Shabarian Williams stands on his own 39. Monster would love to get it back that far, and Monster does get off a really nice kick. Oh, and it hits a Flyer at the 42, and then it's fielded
and again,
mistakenly.
Officials not paying attention again.
Well, but no, because he fielded it, so that is the correct call. Had he just let it go, it would have come all the way back to the 42. So that was a mistake on the Huntington special teams unit to actually field that ball and try to return it.
Yeah, here's a flag for that.
Well, what would be the flag?
Penalty on the play.
What would be the flag? I mean, it's not illegal for it to hit the Flyers' helmet, and it's not illegal for him to field it. Unless they call some kind of holding or something right there. The Flyers are clapping like it's going against Huntington. Interesting call, whatever it is. So they're going to spot it at the 43, which is not the correct call again.
Yeah, that was about the 39, wasn't it?
The ball is not dead just because it hit the Flyer right there. I don't think, John. Like, look, I could be wrong. Sometimes Sometimes the high school, college, and pro rules get a little mixed up. I'll be the first to admit that. But if he tries to field the kick,
Not only that,
I don't think it's dead right there.
I believe
But
the
I could be
incident
wrong.
happened about the 39,
Yeah.
I thought, but maybe.
Well, the officials seem to even be struggling to figure this out. So the penalty is against Huntington, but it looks like they're going to mark
Delay
it.
of game is the call
Delay
against
of game,
Huntington.
but they're going to mark it from where it hit his helmet. It looked like that's where he picked it up from and walked it back.
Which is the point. That's what I was trying to say earlier. The fact that the defense touched it, even though it was incidental, it really should have been. The ball should have been rolled dead, and they would have placed it back where the Loyola players.
Exactly. Had he not tried to field it.
But the fact that he picked it up made it a delay of game penalty because he should not. It should have been a dead ball situation, and that's him picking it up. And
Okay.
they're calling it as a.
Well, after we got all that sorted out, John, Huntington's ball 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line.
But now it's interesting that they've got him at 1st and 15 or 1st and 16, which really it should have been.
That cannot be right. That
you would think that would have been on the.
So they're saying that's a.
On the punt play, should have.
Yeah,
you would think it would be 1st and 10.
Yeah, that wasn't on.
That
It hadn't. Yes, I don't. These guys are, shall we say, struggling, John? Is that a gentle enough way to put it?
They have a hard job. They're having to, see a lot of things. You and I, get the luxury of seeing things from up here, which is nice. So.
Oh, John, they pay us the big money to second guess everybody. Come on, man. I mean, do you think our listeners want to hear us sit up there and be like, "Oh, they're doing a great job. They've marked it 1st and 15." No, they want to hear us call it like it is, right?
I will say this: they can go get a beer, get a bathroom break. I mean, look at the players on the Huntington team taking their helmets off. Actually,
they're still not sure.
He's on the
how to
field with
mark
his helmet
this.
off, which that might be a penalty as well.
Oh my Lord!
So
we need to. I think, John, for our broadcast, we need to open up a Facebook page where our listeners can comment and we can read them. I think I'm going to work on that for the next one.
Something going on with Huntington.
We can set up a poll right now because I think that our listeners would have just as much of a good guess as to where we're supposed to be right now as the officials do.
I'm not sure what the Huntington players are coming on the other end of the field for either. Maybe they're just coming to stretch because it's been such a long break.
I don't know why JJ's playing the car wash. He needs to be playing circus music right now.
Makes you think they're calling New York to, get a read on this play.
We'll have to say Coach Jeter seems incredibly calm down on the sideline. I think I'd be a little more irritated trying to figure out what's going on. And maybe there's something we don't understand. I'll be the first to admit that there may be an issue that we are unaware of right now. Maybe one of the officials is having some kind of problem, or maybe we have an equipment problem or something. I don't know.
I believe they got the call right. I really do. Because I think that, that incidental touching, the ball's still going to carry them around. The defense has got to kill it, and it goes back to where the incidental touching was. The fact that the offensive player picked it up, I think is going to truly be the right call, when it's all said and done. But again, I don't know why they've assessed the penalty on a first down play, giving Huntington a situation where they're in 1st and 15, and nobody seems to know what the real answer is here. We're still waiting on the officials to give some clarification for things. David, I don't know that I've ever seen a delay this long.
Well, That's what leads me to wonder whether this isn't something that actually is not game related. There may be some type of equipment or something, but let's see. We're going to get some kind of signal here.
Makes you think that somebody's got their little playbook in their back pocket or on their smartphone and just check rule number 8G paragraph, Z. And
so, or they could have been on the phone to the league office in New York with Dean Blandino.
Exactly right. Oh, we're moving the ball again, though.
Hey, we need 2 donors real quick to meet our goal for the blood drive. No waiting. We have 2 donors needed to meet the goal for the evening. No waiting. At the blood drive, the Life Share bus is located next to the field house by the patio area. We need 2 donors.
So, delay of game. So we had offsetting penalties.
Some kind of pass interference penalty they called on the offense, like the illegal touching had something to do with him trying to make a play on the ball. I don't get that either. I'm not sure what in the world that call was.
Oh my! So
wait a second.
Now here we come back up the field. So at the end of the day, this is all going to benefit Huntington. And they're going to have it 1st and 10 from their own 47-yard line.
If they're saying that the player was interfering with him being able to make a play on the ball, that's, ludicrous.
Meanwhile, after the 10 minutes it took to sort all that out, we find ourselves here, 8:26 left in the third quarter. Flyers trail at 33-21.
Yeah, I think the Flyers have gotten the bad end of 2 calls in the last 30 minutes.
All right, the ball's on the 47-yard line.
And Joseph's going to keep it, and he's going to look to go downtown right off the play, and the pass is incomplete. He wanted Siberian Williams, and he had him. Williams has been able to hang on, and Williams is going to come up a little with a little limp after that, so he's going to make his way over to the sideline.
2nd and 10.
And again, they're going after Neo Brock again. I mean, they are trying to run these little fly patterns on him, and you can see Huntington just wants to get big chunks of yardage. We've got Josh Jackson coming out of the game, and I'm not sure we need to get a timeout. We don't have enough players on defense. It doesn't look like they're trying to give him a timeout for some reason. There we go.
So now after the big break, we're going to get a timeout.
Well, that was the Flyers. Josh Jackson just came limping off the sideline. Looked like he's got a cramp. And they need a substitute quickly.
Loyola was called for kick-catch interference and then a delay of game.
And that was, we just heard over the overhead that Loyola was called for a kick-catch interference, which is absolutely ludicrous.
That's absurd. That's absurd.
And then the delay of game would have been not from the Loyola side. It would have been from the other side. That the delay of game penalty makes no sense.
So how can you have a kick catch interference? I don't understand
might be
that.
One of the, that one in the throwing the ball out of bounds. I think the officials are going to have to review their film.
2nd and 10 at the 47.
So 2nd and 10 from the 47 for the Raiders. And again, Joseph's going to keep it, and he's got plenty of room. He's across the 40. There is a flag, and that's in the area
Joseph,
of holding,
by Dylan
right
Williams.
about the 40-yard line.
Flag
Dylan Williams forced him out of bounds. First down if the play stands,
And again,
but we don't think it is.
that was a hold downfield.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looked like
Yeah.
it. But the last time I said that, they called Loyola for the hold. So,
The-
but back to that play for a second. That's the first time that the outside really has lost containment. And they've done a good job of forcing Joseph up the field where the spy linebackers are supposed to be. That's what they have to watch out for. He is such a good athlete that if he gets outside, he's going to get big gains.
And a 10-yard penalty.
So after the 12-yard gain and then the 10-yard penalty ends up being
Makes it 2nd down and 8.
gain of 2 and 2nd and 8. Flyers bring some pressure, and Joseph's pass is complete. Looks like he got Aaron Bean out there, and Bean's across the 30 down to the 29.
Again, we have another flag down over here on this near side.
Pass is caught.
Excuse me, that was Clavel, Zion Clavel.
Bodden makes a stop.
Jack Bodden makes the stop on the play, but not before a Huntington first down.
Not sure why. I'm not sure why they're allowing them to line up.
Illegal shift against.
So bring it back. So big break there for the Flyers. Will race the Raider first down.
Again, they needs to keep going backwards. They're not sure where they know they had the down marker moving down too fast right there. It should have been. It was a 2-yard gain, so it was 2nd and 8. So it should be 2nd and 13.
Yeah, and they're showing. Well, he's still got
but he's still got
second. He's got 3.
2nd and 13.
He's got third on there, but it should be
still,
second.
And he's still got the ball listed about a half yard.
All right, so after all that, now 2nd and 13.
Again, where he's got the ball doesn't make it.
But more importantly, after all
either,
this, after all this silliness that we've had going on, the Flyer defense needs to make a play.
Yes. There's it.
And they have their chance right there, and they will make a play right there. Great job that time by Sam Zwock, who gets there and wraps up Jarrell Joseph and drops him for about a 6-yard loss.
A loss of 7.
And I'm going to say it one more time. Ian Birch and Sam Zwock right there, that is putting out maximum effort to ask 3 kids to be basically taking this on and dropping 8 back to try to get into the passing lanes is really a lot. And Birch and Jarrell, we've talked about him. Zwock, they have given maximum effort against a big offensive line.
So 3rd and 20. Raiders need the 43 of Loyola. Passes complete out into the flats to Siberian Williams. But Williams can only make it up to the 40. He'll pick up about 2 yards before Josh Jackson brings him down. And the Huntington punting unit will come onto the field. So great job that time by the Flyer defense to force what we think will be a Raider punt right here.
And again, I'd say a great job by Josh Jackson coming up there. Really, the containment, the wide receiver was looking to try to get to the outside, so turning him back in was really important. Brock did a nice job of staying on the outside, so he didn't have the outside lane to try to turn up.
So Kuat stands on his own 25, and they're going to take a delay of game, so he'll go back to his 20. Make it 4th and 23. Flyers will now stand on the 35-yard line, and now we're going to get a timeout on the field. So just can't quite seem to get this game flowing, John, here in the third quarter. Lots of breaks, lots of crazy action, and honestly, you kind of feel like it might benefit the Flyers right here. I mean, the Raiders had a lot of momentum. They came out to start the third quarter and picked off Jacob Lafitte, took it down for a quick score. Went up 2 scores, had all the momentum, but now this herky-jerky, all the stops. I think it's kind of giving Loyola seemingly a chance to kind of catch their breath, gather themselves, get their feet back underneath them. And their defense just gets a big stop, and their offense is about to get it back. You assume, which probably shouldn't do, but we assume with pretty good field position.
Well, in the offensive series have all been very, very short. So, the defense has really been.
Oh, and now the Flyers are going to bail them out. That's going to be a running into the kicker
But it should
penalty.
be running into the kicker. The guy blocked Luke Hammer into him, so I'm not sure if they're going to call that roughing or running into the kicker, because that, it wasn't like he. Oh, that's wrong. Again, Luke Hammer was blocked into the kicker, and they're going to call it a 15-yard penalty. That's a tough break again.
So this has been a series of unfortunate events, as Lemony Schnickett would say, John, if you're a Flyer fan. So
15-yard penalty
after the 15-yard penalty, that should also be
we'll mark the ball at the 49-yard line.
Automatic first down, and it is. Let's see. Yeah, so first down, Huntington from their own 49-yard line now.
And again, I mean, that is
first and 10, Huntington.
That is a huge call by that official right there, who saw the block going. Hammer had to come around that block. So again, it's just.
So the Flyer
judgment call, it's tough.
The Flyer defense is really going to have to show some grit right here. Everything's going against them right now. They just got off the field. Now they're going to have to do it again. And guess what? Timeout.
Timeout, Huntington.
Wow, John. It's the quarter that never can get started. So we're sitting here. It's 9 o'clock here in Central Time, Shreveport, Louisiana. I believe this quarter started somewhere around 8. We still have 5 minutes, 49 seconds left. I think we've had, 3 timeouts, a couple of breaks, and about a 10-minute delay while the officials figured out how to completely screw up a kick-catch interference penalty after all that time off.
Yeah, I hate getting on officials. I really do. It just it's
sometimes
a hard
they
game.
deserve
it's
it,
a hard
John.
game. They've got tough jobs, but they've missed some calls tonight for sure.
Well, you got to be accountable for your actions. Everybody's accountable, John. Riley carries it across midfield and it's brought down by Jack Biden at the 47-yard line. Gain of 4.
Very good open field tackle by Jack Biden.
Second and 6.
Against a very good athlete.
47 of Loyola.
Carry that time by DeMaja Riley, and Jarrell Joseph. And Joseph's going to get it down to the 33 and another first down for Huntington.
So that quick little pitch, that fake pitch to Riley right there, had the linebackers flowing. So that was really an easy run for him once that happened. Again, I mean, it's hard for the Flyers, defensively to make all your reads right there when you've got so many athletes on the field.
So fresh set it down for the Raiders. The Flyer crowd has had the life sapped out of them right now, and who can blame them with all these crazy calls? The carry's going to be by DeMaja Riley, and he'll be brought down by Brock, but not before he gets to the Flyer 12-yard line.
Gain of 20.
That's a gain of 20 and a first down for Huntington.
Again, it looked like there was a hole. Maybe Darrell was trying to come off of a block right there and kind of got held up. He looked like he had a play, but the officials did not see it.
Again, the handoff's going to go to Riley. Riley dances his way across the 10, and he'll be brought down by several Flyers right there. He'll pick up 4 yards on the carry.
Riley is tackled by Darrell and
Jonathan
Birch.
Darrell and Ian Birch get credit for that tackle.
Gain of 3.
Make it second and 7. Joseph's got all day. He kind of throws across his body that time and is unable to find his receiver, Dre Robinson.
And again, I mean, that was a great individual play by Sam Swack. He had to take on 2 different blockers to basically contain the outside. prevent Joseph from getting outside and making him throw that ball across his body. I mean, however this game turns out, the defensive front for the Flyers has really given it all that they can give, and they really have done everything that the coaches could have asked of them.
They've been out there a long time, albeit with plenty of breaks in between, especially here in the third quarter. It's just really hard when the quarterback is so athletic. He can buy time with his feet, and his receivers are, as they say, no slouches themselves. So they are difficult covers for the Flyers secondary, and all that has led to some success for the Huntington Raiders moving the ball. So the Huntington player, that's a big number 55, Cavelis Knight, who looks like he's got some kind of a leg issue. We hope he is okay. So now we have a 3rd and 7 after the incomplete pass right here.
3rd down and 7.
Joseph's going to look to throw. He looks into the corner of the end zone, and he has his man. Touchdown Raiders. Zion Clavel
complete to number 6,
on
Zion
the
Clavel.
10-yard touchdown reception, and the Raiders are going to extend their lead now to 39-21 with 4 minutes 9 seconds left here in the third quarter.
And A.J. Taylor played that about as well as you can play it. It's really one of those back shoulder throws where the receiver is really the only one's going to have a chance at making the play. He made a nice play at it.
So Kuat will attempt the extra point here. It's like the Raiders were missing a man from their protection there. And everything's set. And the snap is up, and the kick is good. So 4:09 left here in the third, and Huntington now has a 40-21 lead. So John, down 3 touchdowns now with just a little bit over 1 quarter left. The Flyer offense needs to find their legs, and they need to find it on this series.
And this is what's important in this game. Yes, a win against a 4A team would really be, good, boost your points ratings and all of that. But, this is not about this game. This is about getting to the division playoffs. And this is about getting to your district and competing in your district. But ultimately it is about the playoffs. And so what you need to really settle your kids down and say, okay, that's fine. This is a very talented team you're playing. Continue with your reads. Be disciplined. We will be a better team as you continue to do the things the right way.
So Kuat set to kick with Taylor and Taylor back to receive on their own 10-yard line. And Taylor's going to field it, and he's got a hold. Taylor across the 40 down to midfield, and he's going to be ball down there. That's Trey Taylor with a great return, setting up the Flyers with really good field position. So, again, the special teams unit does their job, and they're going to turn it over to the Flyer offense, who now have 50 yards to go to put 7 points on the board.
The 50-yard line.
But again, this is all about little steps. You still have a sophomore quarterback and wide receivers that don't have a ton of experience. It's about working on your offense.
Lafitte hands off to English. English dances his way across midfield down to the 49. But that's about it.
Gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Second and 9, 3 minutes, 28 seconds with the clock moving here. Third quarter, Flyers down 3 touchdowns, need a score. Lafitte passes incomplete bounces out of the arms of A.J. Taylor. Taylor probably should have come up with that one, but I think he heard the footsteps, John. He was about to get popped pretty good, it looked like. That'll set up a 3rd and 9.
Again, I mean, the Riley kid is coming up the field so much that I really do think that the Flyers can try to expose him. If they could run this wide receiver out and have the tight end or Trey Taylor come on a little drag, I think that they would have an opportunity.
Big 3rd down right here. Taylor in motion, and we're going to get a flag for delay of game against the Flyers.
Penalty delay game against the Flyers.
So after the penalty, it'll make it 3rd and 14. So Flyers not doing themselves any favors right here.
No, they're already down to 17 seconds. That's fairly quick.
Feet's going to roll right. He's got some time, and he's got a man if he can hit him. Pass is incomplete. Intended for A.J. Taylor, but broken up by the Huntington defense that time. Great job by Michael Morton up there. And Lafitte delivered a really good pass right into the hands of Taylor, but just couldn't hang on. It was really good coverage.
It was good coverage. I mean, it's one of those bang-bang plays where, the cornerback never looked back. Well, the ball came in right at the time that he was reaching in there, so he was able to break it up.
Mansour set to kick with Morton and Robinson standing back on their own 12. Mansour gets off a pretty good one. It'll bounce on the 29, take a Huntington bounce, and then back to a Loyola bounce. And they'll finally down it at the 27-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over 1st and 10.
Line. 27-yard punt.
So 27 yards on the punt. 2:41 left in the 3rd quarter. Flyers trail at 40 to 21.
Again, the defense is going to be exhausted. We're in the 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and they have been on the field a tremendous amount tonight.
Joseph rolls left, but he's just going to tuck it and keep it, and he'll be forced out of bounds for about a 1-yard loss. That was Luke Albin that forced him out right there, it looked like.
Joseph,
no, excuse me. That was Sam Zwack.
Sack for Sam Zwack, a 1-yard loss.
So that's considered a sack and a 1-yard loss, so make it 2nd and 11.
2nd and 11.
They did a nice job of coverage all the way down the field right there, and Joseph was just trying to, drift out to the left and then try to turn it upfield. Zwack did a nice job of forcing him out.
Handoff goes to Riley. Excuse me, that's not Riley. That is Octavius Scott. With his first carry of the night. So
Brandon Williams.
Octavius Scott picks up a Huntington first down
17.
On a 17-yard gain up to the Raider 43-yard line. And the ball's on the ground. And Scott's going to carry it again, and it takes half the Flyer defense before he finally is brought down at the 44-yard line. It'll be a gain of 1, make it 2nd and 9.
And again, that Scott kid is
Scott.
Really
Tackled
a
by
big
Birch
kid. I mean, that is a
others.
sizable kid to be getting the ball at this point in the game.
One,
So the Flyers have got to be pretty tired at this point.
Well, John, interesting. Oh, actually, he's one that they don't have their height and weight listed for. So we were going to tell you how tall and big he was, but
I'm just going to say we
don't have that info. Ball's on the ground again, but again, Joseph does a good job picking it up. So Flyer defense with 2 opportunities with the ball on the ground can't come up with either one of them. But the defense does do a great job of getting the tackle after a 1-yard gain. Hammer and Birch got there, and it's 3rd and 8 now, and the Flyer defense has an opportunity to get the ball back right here for their offense.
And even on that broken play right there, Joseph had a hole, and Hammer did a nice job of holding on to him, because if he loses him, that's probably a 10 to 15-yard gain.
Joseph's going to look to throw. He's going to go downtown. He's got a man wide open, and that is going to be a touchdown again for Zion Clavel. That one's going to go for 57 yards. And if you had Zion Clavel in your high school fantasy league this week, you are probably winning your game.
Huntington's doing what, athletic team's going to do. They're going to take advantage of their mismatch. That was cornerback Grayson Hutchins, who's a freshman, that was out there on the edge, and they're picking on the freshman quarterback.
Kuat, and it'll be offsides against the Flyers is the call right there. So we're going to move it up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if the Raiders decide to go for 2 right here instead of kicking it, but doesn't look like it. And Kuat's kick is good. So 42 seconds left in the third quarter, and Huntington extends their lead now to 47-21. Yeah, kind of back to what you were saying earlier, John. I mean, as coaches, we've been in these type of situations before. I mean, if you're Coach Jeter, what you really want to see right now, and you're realistic with yourself. At this point, you're probably not going to come back and win this game. So now you're looking at smaller achievements, things you can build on for the coming weeks, for next week, a series at a time, a first down, moving the chains, hopefully finally getting the ball into the end zone. But more importantly than anything, you want to see the mental response by your team. You want to see your team fight right here and not just, feel sorry for themselves. Because, look, young teams do that sometimes, and that's not a knock on anybody. I mean, look, I had young teams, and you have to learn these things. You have to learn sometimes that things don't always go your way, and you got to fight back a little bit. And that time the kick's going to bounce off the up man for the Flyers and looks to be recovered by Huntington. Let's see. We haven't seen a signal yet, have we? Did he? Yep, they did. So Raiders going to get it back. So the bad news continues here if you're a Flyer fan.
And, of course, the defense is back on the field one more time. And, again, this is, they have been on the field a long time. And, you've got to be looking on the sideline trying to see who you can kind of get
First and 10 to 44.
From time to time. Again, having to use a freshman cornerback in certain situations. The Flyers defense has got to be fatigued. And quarter to play.
There's no doubt. There is no doubt. I mean, this is too where your senior leaders really have to step up. Where your guys. That's Octavius Scott, who continues to be a hard man to bring down. He'll pick up 6 and cross the 40, make it 2nd and 4. But this is where your seniors need to step up.
Gain of 5.
They need to be hitting people on the butt, firing them up. Hey, let's go. We still got a quarter to play. You're looking. If you're a coach, you're looking for that life on the sideline right now. Like, hey, we're still here.
Well, all 11 guys have to do it too, because everybody's got their responsibility. If one person takes a play off at this point because the way it is, then the whole team suffers, and so that's what's important. Everybody still has to play out their responsibility.
So that's the end of the third quarter. The Flyers. It's a tough one for the Flyers. They'll enter the fourth down 47-21, giving up 20 points here in the third quarter. And we're going to go down to the sidelines for Art Farley real quick.
Well, the Flyers jumped out to a 14-0 lead, but so far it's been all Huntington outscoring the Flyers 47-7 as we go into the fourth quarter. You can feel the momentum change on the roughing the punter call. Huntington went down, immediately scored. And one thing I want to mention is early in the game we mentioned wide receiver number 6 for Huntington, Cobell, being adamant after the first possession that he could beat his man, that he could make big plays, and Huntington has responded by giving him the ball. He's had 3 long touchdowns, the beautiful one in the corner. So far it's been all Huntington. We'll see what the Flyers can do to start the fourth quarter. Jake Lafitte's done a good job moving the offense. They've had some drops, but we'll see what they can do. Back to you guys.
Second and 5 at the 39. To begin the fourth quarter.
All right, so start the fourth quarter. We've got a new quarterback in there, and that's going to be the running back Octavius Scott. Octavius Scott doing his best Jerome Bettis impersonation, takes it down to the 40-yard. We have a flag in the backfield. New quarterback in there.
Brandon Williams, flag on the play.
That one's going to come back, holding against the Raiders. So take that big Octavius Scott run off the board and back him up. Do it again.
That was a big hole right there. And again, this is what we talked about. You still have to stay with your responsibilities. You're still playing a game right now. And so, again, it's football. You're going to have to play. You've got to make sure that you understand, even though the game's not going your way, you've got that responsibility. You've got to fill your hole.
If I'm Coach Jeter, one of the things I'm talking to the players about when we watch
2-yard gain and a 15-yard penalty.
Always was a big believer in body language as a coach. And right now I'm looking down at the Flyers sideline and even onto the field to some extent, and I'm seeing a lot of hands on the hips, a lot of kind of shoulders slumped, kind of resigned to what's going on, and that cannot happen. I know you're not going to come back and win, but this young team's got to learn that fighting in this quarter, although it may not result in a win, carries over.
Here they are again, rushing 3. He has taken on 2 linemen. He got a push into the backfield, and again, he's given maximum effort. And when you talk about leadership, that's what's going to show itself on film right there. And you sit there and you go, okay. This is what we need. We need people matching this type of effort the rest of the season. These are all learning experiences.
Absolutely, and we've said that at the very beginning. I mean, when you have a young team, they need the experience. I mean, that seems like a silly thing to say, an obvious thing to say, but it's true. You have to learn through these type of situations. The important thing is that you actually do learn that. You can go through these situations and not learn a darn thing if you're not careful.
That's exactly right. And
good teams do learn.
And that's anybody in this situation when you're playing in this situation, you can get hot-headed.
Well, there's certain purpose in doing that. Next week.
It really is.
Loyola will turn home in 2 weeks to take on.
Go down there and score. Let's stop them. Let's go down. Let's work on our offense and see if we can move the ball down a bit. Yeah, you don't need to try to make up 28 points right now, but what you do need to do is show that you can move the ball down the field.
And it's not just the offensive side of the ball either, John. I mean, the defense, although they've got a little more of an excuse in terms of they've been out there a long time, they're a proud defense. They played really, really, really well to this game, and they've got a quarter to kind of right their ship a little bit, moving on to the next game next week. And that's an opportunity, and that's the way they should look at it. Evans is going to drop back for his first pass tonight. He shows off a pretty good arm, but that pass is going to be broken up. That's Michael Key and Neo Brock on the coverage for the Flyers. And it looks like we've got a man down. That's Ian Birch down there at the 34-yard line for the Flyers.
And they're throwing 30 yards down the field.
And, that's what we did earlier in the season. Similar situation, and you certainly don't fault them for that.
It is what they are.
Looks like it's just a cramping situation there.
Looked like it was Ian Birch, I believe.
It was. The way they're working his toe right there, they're trying to stretch out his calf. That would indicate a cramp.
And again, I'm shocked that that's the first one. I think Josh Jackson had one earlier, but as much as these guys have been on the field, that is easy to understand. Thank goodness the temperature has dropped down. We're not playing in 95-degree heat.
I'd say from all the games that we've done up here this year, this is amazingly comfortable. Somebody turned on the air conditioner finally. And the dehumidifier.
Yeah. But since neither one of these teams have really got much of a ground game going, the clock just stalls and stalls and stalls.
Yeah.
Lasts longer and longer and longer.
So we've got 4th down, and the Huntington punting unit will come on, and Danny Quat will get a nice end-over-end low punt that's going to bounce very good for the Raiders all the way down to the 3-yard line. And that's where the Flyers will take over deep in their own territory with 11 minutes left in the football game. The Flyers trailing at 47-21.
That's an interesting call right there about not fielding that punt. They've had a hard time punting the ball, and it didn't look like they had much of a punt block situation on, even though they lined everybody up and really allowed the punter to have a lot of room to let that ball just kind of fall wherever it was going to fall.
The Flyer offense takes over. The Flyer offense has managed minus 33 yards. Make sure I get this right. Minus 33 yards since our last score. Amazing stat. Handoff is going to go inside. English. Reddick on the stop for Huntington, make it 2nd and 9. Gain of 1.
Every yard getting out of the end zone is better. But again, the safeties are walked up. They are allowing one-on-one coverage out here on A.J. Taylor.
Flyer, they're going to have to take a timeout as the play clock is running down to 0 right there. Having a hard time. Let me tell you what. One of the interesting things, John, we talked about this earlier, the Huntington band, I think, particularly when the Flyers are down on this end of the field, causing some communications issues for the Flyers.
Sports medicine team from Christus Highland Hospital, along with doctors Edward Anglin, George Byram, Carl House, Timothy Talbert, and Craig Springmeyer. The Highland Center for Orthopedics provide all the sports medicine care for Loyola.
Looked like they were having trouble trying to get the line position. Again, in this situation right here, they definitely do need to go down.
So 2nd down and 9. Flyers in the shadow of their own end zone right now. Get out of said shadow if they can. He's going to look to throw. He goes downfield, and it's well over the head of his intended receiver. He wanted Trey Taylor. Good coverage again by the Raiders that time.
That coverage over there, we've got a safety deep. I think that they had better opportunities on the right side of the offense trying to go, match up on this side than they do trying to go over the left-hand side. It's really do think that even though 24 got a hold call on A.J. Ford, he's a bigger cornerback, I really do think you have your best chance. Again, it's lined up the same way.
Third and 9. Beats under pressure, and that pass is incomplete. He wanted English out of the backfield, but English just couldn't hang on. Should have caught it, frankly, but he didn't. So 9 minutes, 59 seconds, and the Flyers are going to have to punt it out of the shadow of their own end. English just hasn't really looked the same to us. He's been out with an ankle injury earlier in the game. He just hasn't had that same explosiveness that we're used to seeing out of him. Give the young man a lot of credit for gutting it out. Monster. Punt will be fielded at the 45 by Azavia. Wise is going to take it down. Flag, flags. So let's see. So hold on this. Should bring it back somewhere around. First and 10 from the 48-yard line. Go the Raiders. And Evans is going to hand off to Scott. Scott follows his blockers down to the 45. It'll be a gain of 3 and set up 2nd and 7.
Scott carries Darrell on the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you call a wealth of talent in the backfield. Scott's again going to take the carry. And this time the Flyer defense does a really nice job of getting tackled. Kilgarland and Birch bring him down after about a 1-yard gain. It'll set up 3rd and 6.
2, 3rd and 5.
Darrell, Zwack, you can see everybody. I mean, they've all been on the field for a long time. Luke Hammerter, Michael Key, I mean, Jack Bodden, they're all got to be exhausted. They've been lining up against this big offensive line the whole time.
So 3rd down. Evans is going to look to throw. He's got a little bit of time. He finally lets it go and has his man complete out to the 40-yard line. That's Zion Clavel again. Excuse me, that's Aaron Bean. Aaron Bean on the reception.
Pass complete to Bean. Tackle by Dylan Williams.
Make it 4th and 3. Dylan Williams on the start for the Flyers.
3-41.
Yeah, this is a little suspect call right here. You gotta wonder why on 4th and 3 up 26 points you're going for here. I don't know if this is going to sit well with Coach Jeter.
And Scott's going to take the carry, and he's going to have a first down up to the 36. Flyers finally bring him down there after a 5-yard gain. Birch on the tackle for Loyola. 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. The Flyers trail at 47-21.
5 enough for a first down.
That one might stick in my craw just a tad. I mean, hate to hate to get in anybody's head, but
we've seen it all over the years up here, John. We've seen some stuff that just frankly was hard to understand then, but this time they're going to put it on the ground and they're going to be able to fall on it. Evans does a good job that time falling on it. That's the third fumble this quarter that the Raiders have been able to get back on top of. Flyers unable to capitalize on those opportunities.
And it's looked like they moved to their third team running back now.
You do kind of wonder when the Flyers are going to mass up. It's interesting, the Huntington team looks noticeably smaller all of a sudden. We got a flag here. False start against Huntington. We'll back it up.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they mass up on defense as well.
Evans going to look to throw again. He's going to look downtown, and the pass is incomplete. Good job that time by Brock breaking that pass play up.
And it was a good play. I mean, really, the offense, I mean, the defensive line, I keep going back. They've got to be exhausted, but they are continuing to try to put pressure on the quarterback. These long routes that Huntington runs, I mean, demands that the quarterback stand back there for 3, 4, 5 seconds. And so you've got to put pressure on to try to disrupt some of that timing, or they're going to rip you apart.
So third down and 22. Evans passes complete out to Shabirian Williams. Of course, at the 38-yard line. That's going to be 12 yards shy of the first down.
4th and 12.
And right now, the offense is staying out on the field. So John, we saw him go for a
There's timeout on the field.
Down a minute ago. Now they've got a 4th and 12. And let's see what they do here. If you were agitated at the first call, he's like, hold my Gatorade.
Yeah, I'm all about getting kids playing time and have no problem with Huntington, trying to get younger kids some playing time. But, on a 4th and 12 situation and you're trying to extend it against a defense that is exhausted, I'm just, call me old school. I don't know that I'd be doing it.
Well, it does seem a little excessive. I think we can all agree on that. All right, so 6:01 left here in the football game. Flyers trail by 26, 47-21, and the Huntington Raider offense is going to stay on the field for a 4th and 12. They need the 26-yard line for a first down.
4th down and 12.
Evans is going to look to throw. He looks downfield and has his man complete. That is Shabirian Williams. Williams will be brought down at the 18-yard line, and that'll be good enough for a Huntington first down. Complete.
Hammer and Key on the stop.
Hammer and Key on the stop for the Flyers. And you're right, John. The Flyer defense.
Gain of 20.
They just look exhausted. I mean, there's just no other way to look at it.
First and 10.
I don't care how much cooler it is tonight. That field is hot down there.
So first down Raiders. Flyer 18. Evans hands off. This time to Jamarian Mills. Mills on his first carry of the night will lose 5 yards. Flyer defense does a great job. That was Ian Birch that got there first, I believe.
There's Jack Bodden.
I'm sorry, Jack Bodden as well. Birch was there. So second down and
27 Mills carries. Bodden makes a stop and back
for the Raiders. 4 minutes 56 seconds left.
Loss of 6.
In the football game. Flyers this one to end quickly.
Hey, Michael, watch out!
Evans going to drop back, look to pass. He's going to roll left. Pass incomplete. He won. Severian Williams had a couple of big receptions for him in this quarter, but it's going to be incomplete and set up 3rd and 16.
You know, at this point in the game, you hope that injuries from fatigue don't occur, because again, there's nothing really. And that's what's kind of harsh about the Huntington going for it on both those 4th downs, is you're just taking exhausted players and making them be out there longer and longer.
Evans is going to be brought down that time. Great job by the Flyer defense. Great job, defense. That was Jack Bodden. He got there for the sack. There is a flag right at the spot where oh, no, that's not a flag. That's a towel that came up with one of the Huntington players.
There is a flag.
Now, there is a flag.
But, eventually one of the Huntington players just flattened.
If I need to write him a flow chart and a Venn diagram.
Personal foul against Huntington, so maybe they did call it.
Or to write him Morse code, or whatever the frick he wants to write him.
15. Maybe 4th and
Because of them shooting time, I'm not sure
a lot.
it is. It's probably way
And let's see if
7 yards.
let's see if Coach Stephen Dennis is going to continue to play his hand the way he has so far.
38.
With a 4th and 38 looking at him. Evans is still going to stay on the field. So, hey, first one, hey, look. At least he's consistent, right?
I don't know what's getting about this right here. I really, I don't try to put myself in other people's shoes. What in the world are you gaining by having 4th and a mile?
They do kind of give him a little bit of a give-up play right there. The carry by Mills goes for a couple of yards. He's finally brought down by Bodden, and the Flyer offense will have another crack at it. 4:08 left here in the football game. So here we go, John. Opportunity for the Flyer offense in this game with some positive momentum right here.
This is something that the Flyers need to work right now. 4 minutes to go. This is time to work on your offense.
Feet's going to look to throw. He's got his man complete. That's Jackson. And Jackson's going to get a couple of yards out of it. That's it.
Second page. Yeah, like that old play call. You've got to use these. These are plays you're going to be using. You've got to use them. Get your team accustomed to running these plays. Get players accustomed to catching the football. Use this time productively.
Lafitte throws is incomplete that time. Intended for Jackson again to make it 3rd and 8.
That ball was a little bit behind him. I'm not sure if the timing was off right there. Jacobs really made a nice throw. Throwing across his body like that.
Not sure why the clock is continuing to run on an incomplete pass, but it is. 3 minutes left. Feet does a good job sidestepping the pressure, but throws incomplete, intended for Taylor, and the Flyer punting unit back. The kickoff, and he'll get a nice kick that rolls out of bounds at the Huntington 30-yard line. 2 minutes, 8 seconds left. Looks like the coaches must have agreed to a running clock for the rest of the quarter. The clock continues to run here, even on the kick out of bounds.
These kids have given it all that they can do.
I'll be the first to admit I'm not up on all the latest LHSA rules. You know, this is the second time we've seen a running clock this year with a big lead in the 4th quarter. I wonder if there's some kind of automatic score that kicks in. I think we need to effort the answer on that, John.
We really do.
Evans drops the ball. He just has to jump on top of it, and he does. Flyers will bring him down at the 24-yard line. It'll be a loss of 6.
Loss of 6.
Make it 2nd and 16.
Hey, Michael, get right on top of number 2 and twins. Get right on top of number 2 and twins. Okay?
So after the carry,
Mims carries.
Mims. Let's see, we got a timeout in the field. Sorry. They're just going to end the game right there. Say that's the end of the game. Final score here.
47, Loyola 21.
Stadium, Huntington 47, Loyola 21. We'll be right back in just a minute to wrap it up. You've been watching Flyer Football on LCP TV. All right, welcome back to Mesmer Stadium. Final here tonight, Huntington 47, Loyola 21. The Flyers' 4-game winning streak is snapped. They'll move to 4-1 on the season. The Huntington Raiders will move to 3-2 on the season. The Flyers were game in the first half, John. Actually took a 14-point lead, in large part due to some really good special teams play. And we're going to go. Okay. The Raiders were able to get back into it and take a 6-point lead at half, but the third quarter was all Huntington as they ran off 20 unanswered. And then we ultimately ended up at this point in the fourth. Final score, Huntington 47, Loyola 21. So, John, the Flyers move on from here to face Green Oaks, which is their first district game. That'll be at Green Oaks. So, John, as painful as this game might be to the team right now, it really doesn't affect anything in terms of what their goals are for the end of the season. So what do the Flyers need to do between now and next Friday when they have to travel to Green Oaks to kind of clean up the mistakes from tonight and get ready for a Green Oaks team that, frankly, will probably be built a lot like this Huntington team?
You said it perfectly. We remember very well Baker, quarterback from last year for Green Oaks, the Mason kid who defensive end. They're both outstanding players and gave the Flyers all they could handle last year in a very exciting game that went down to the wire. And so it's going to be a big contest. Now, we talked about at the very beginning of this game that, Huntington is a 4A school, and that was 4A talent that we saw tonight. The Joseph kid is the real deal. The Riley kid is the real deal. Wide receivers, can fly past people. That is a very athletic group of kids. And hats off to Huntington. I mean, we talked about it. That's their game plan. They like throwing the ball around the field, like using the entire field, making the defense have to cover the entire field. And the Flyers were worn down. And so you said it perfectly. In the third quarter, you saw the effects of being worn down. I mean, the Flyers had been on the field a long time. Even the scores that the Flyers had were relatively short, so the defense was right back out there. If somebody looked up the time of possession in this game, it is got to be so lopsided. And to think about the amount of time the defense had to be out there is just amazing. So, the first thing you got to do for next week is to get everybody healed up. I mean, I am sure that tomorrow there are going to be a lot of people that are getting ice baths and just sleeping in because they have got to be tired. But the thing that you and I talked about, the offense has got to start working on some things. There are some holes that need to be plugged, and of course, Reese Barb is a big part of that. And they missed him tonight, and hopefully he will be back next week. But in the absence of that, anybody can get injured on your team. Everybody's got to have the next man up mentality. And that's the thing, is you've got to continue to work with your offense, work on things that you can do well so that you can get into district play and really be competitive.
All right, well, that's going to do it from here in Messmer Stadium. The next time you'll see us will be on October 18th as the Bossier Bearcats come to Messmer Stadium for a district game here against the Flyers. The Flyers, as we said before, next week will travel to Green Oaks to play the Giants at Northwood Stadium. That game will be played at Northwood Stadium. So if you're going to travel out to see the Flyers, that's where they will be next Friday. So for producer Gray Hodges, for Carol Ann Harrison and Mary Catherine Bernard, camera women, I guess. I'm David Winkler, also joined by John Carmody and Art Carmody on the sideline. We've enjoyed bringing this one to you from Messmer Stadium. The Flyers with a tough one tonight. They're going to lose to Huntington 47-21. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Enjoy bringing this one to you. Thanks for watching. You've been watching Flyer Football on LCP TV.